Chapter 125 Firemane 4. Little Bastard, Old Bastard. I am changing the extra chapter from SDW 3:1 RSTUM to 1:1. I feel like I want to write more RSTUM. Underscore 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 underscore. Hey, Uncle Tyr, what is wrong with this place? The fire garden? This place was here before Father decides to settle in this land. I mean, there is no volcano or anything under this land, right? No. This place was formed since a long ago. Mother says it has something to do with the eruption of the Red Mountain. Does everything have to do with the damn Red Mountain nowadays? Beats me. Anyway, your father, you can find him in there. Well, good for him, or what is left of him. You are one arrogant prick, he'll like you. I am not asking to be liked. Why are you bringing me here anyway? To bring him of course. Why would I want to? I am not some crazy dragon knight who bathes in fires or whatever. Don't you want to see you father? He'll come out when he gets bored, and it seems like Hilda will give him an earful. Tyr started laughing. A few minutes ago, Tyr told me to come and see old John. I was a bit surprised later to learn that old John, the one I met in Dawnstar 9 months ago, is actually Jonhild Firemane, my father. I was surprised but not too surprised like Tyr thought I would be. First, I was raised as an orphan so I didn't have too much faith in parents thing. Second, my mental self is 40 years old so I won't be shaken like the 16 years old I look like. So Uncle Tyr was taken aback most of the time by my cold attitude towards my father and all that. Anyway, after followed Tyr outside the fort and also went away from the town, we arrived at a crater surrounded by high walls. It was called the Fire Garden for a very good reason. It is a burning place filled with lava. It wasn't like a lake of lava or anything, it was just a place with too many small ponds all around the crater. The mysterious thing about the place is that these small ponds don't cool down no matter what. The place also is very hot that even the firemans can't go deep to the center of the crater. It's said that the only people who reached the center of the crater were Grandfather V. Firemane and my father Jonhild Firemane. So, you think that this handsomey will go through this piece of hell to see someone that he never met before just because that is his father? Now that you put it that way, I guess you are rig. Fuck yeah. What? Excuse me. I am going in. Are you sure? Like hell I am sure. Still, I am called John Dare for goodness sake. If I don't go in there because I am afraid, what do you think people will call me? John not Dare? I know you got excited but don't think of this place as something you can go through easily, you are not some sort of a flame atronak. Also, don't go in there without. Flame atronak you say. HM? Did I say something wrong? No. I just thought why not go in there with a style? I know that look. My sister always make it when she is about to do something very, very wrong. I think I will enjoy this one. Before you go in there, be careful with the fumes, they are poisonous and really are not a thing I want to get near to. Fine. Anything else I need to be careful with? Don't get yourself hurt, of course. Yeah, sure. I went a bit to the back and cast a spell. A flame atronak hawk came out. That will do the trick. Whoa. I think you are going to do something really bad. Come on. I'll go to the heart of this garden and get out. Don't forget to tell Jonhild to come out. Well, I'll ask nicely, I said as I jumped on the flame atronak hawk and flew up on the edge of the fire garden. The place was vast. I could see all the Firemane domain from this altitude, and I must say it is a nice place. On one corner of the glade, there was this large fire crater that was formed due to unknown reasons, but it is a place that had a lot of fire energy. Still, the energy was very wild. I tried to absorb some of it while being on the flame Atronach hawk, and it felt like so aggressive, yet I managed to control it in the end. After some thinking, I realized that the energy is not coming from the fire in the area, but it is what keeps the area on fire. If I manage to cultivate my energy in such a place, I might get a lot of benefits, but I still need to do some tests. This swap of Inferno or Fire Garden, or whatever, is sure something that made me curious. I was still flying on the edge to gain enough altitude and get a better scene of the inside of the Fire Garden. The problem is that the more I go up, the more the fumes get thicker in the air, so I need to get in from a lower height. I chose to fly because the area down there will be super unbearable to walk into. I may face a problem in landing, but at least I can turn back anytime, as the flame Atronach hawk will not be bothered by any kind of heat at all. After a minute or two, I saw a good place to go into the fire garden from. It will be darish, but hey, who am I? Okay, nice and easy. I made my mind and directed the flame Atronach hawk into the fire garden. It started to get hot the moment I passed the edge of the fire garden. It was as if an oven was spewing its heat out. Truly marvelous. But it was not enough to put me down just yet. I navigated left and right while making the flame Atronach hawk fly as slow as possible. After a few seconds, I reached the point where breathing was something painful. Sigh. This won't end well at this rate. Next time, I will make a flame Atronach power armor. Well, I tried once and it didn't work. After a minute, I finally saw a big rock in the middle of the garden. It was as if this was the thing that made the crater or part of it. I cast Flameskin and unleashed the aura of fire that I developed to get a better resistance to fire, as I was already getting near my limit. They cooled things a little bit, but only a little bit. Land there slowly. I gave a mental command and the Atronach did the work on its own. Good things these creatures have a fairly high intelligence, or it would have been impossible to command them that way. Anyway, the flame Atronach hawk approached the rock and brought its talons on. Fuck. This is so freaking hot. I am on the verge of melting. I started complaining the moment I got down. Still, the rock is still much nicer than the lava womp under the big rock. I really needed to practice some frost magic or a frost aura to deal with this place. My limit in this place is 2 more minutes. I think I reached the center by this. No one here though. Never mind, I'll just go ba. Well, isn't that one way to reach the center? I heard a voice coming from the side. I turned and saw. Damn. Ha ha. That bastard started laughing. I will look like this a few years from now then? That was the first thing that came to my mind. Come on. You are my son, still you can't get as handsome as I am. Ha. In your dreams. I already surpassed 100 like you. 100? If half a person as handsome as me excited, then I would have torched them too as a long time ago. You firemans and your arsonism. TCH. Here I face old John once again. I have never seen his face clearly last time, and he had a beard, but it seems that he shaved. Still, when we stood face to face, it felt like I am looking at myself in a mirror that showed me a little bit older. I am more handsome, of course. Did you just think that you are more handsome than me, you little bastard? And he can read my mind. I am more handsome than you, no argue about that, old bastard. Ho ho ho. Looks like these 16 years made you catch some bad habits, little bastard. He said as he evoked flame at his hand. I caught what I caught. You can't judge the son you just met, old bastard. I replied as I called the lightning. Look at you using some lightning. Do you think the true power lies anywhere far than the flames, little bastard? Lightning is the densest sort of destruction magic, old bastard. You think so? He looked with sharp eyes. For some reason, I lost some confidence, but I knew I was right. Receive my attack then, he said, and cast a fire spell on me. I put a ward up and received the spell, but arf! Too heavy. I don't know what spell that is, but it took a chunk of my magicka. It looked like a whip made of flame. So formidable. Oh, you can block that? He looked a bit surprised for some reason. What the? Old bastard, did you just cast a spell at your son knowing he wouldn't block it? Ha! So you choose to be a son when it suits you, little bastard? We kept silent for a while, looking at each other to assess the situation. He is strong. Beating him is impossible to the current me. Fire magic won't even harm him, frost won't work too, only storm magic and the other tricks can work on him. Retaliation time, I said as I made a hasty plan in mind and cast fast lightning spells. He only smiled and made the flame whip in his hand dance around to block my spells. I don't look so smug when I smile, I said. Ha ha, you have a big mouth, he said as he took a strange position. He took a deep breath to open his mouth and, fuck! He breathed flames out of his mouth. Only one thing came to my mind. Fuss ro da. I used the Thursday to counterattack him. My shout obliterated his fire breath, and he jumped away from its way. Thank goodness my only redeeming feature worked. Damn. I thought I almost got you there, you little bastard. Old bastard. You are seriously getting on my nerve. Ready to go one more time? Fuck off. One more second here and I will get a tan. I am out. Look at you escaping on your little bird. Nope. I am going to bring Hilda. See how you act cocky that time. Hey. That's cheating. Wait, I am coming with you. Go away. Chapter 126 Firemane 5. Time to dot the I's and cross the T's. To think that guy can make chains out of fire magic, then use them to get on the flame Atronach hawk and sit behind me. Truly a monster. Haha. Look at that Atronach flying. One doesn't get to see that every day. How can you do that? Just get down already. Come on. I never flew before. Aren't you a mage? Go learn that levitation spell. I am a dragon knight. I am not really anything special in any magic other than the fire magic I trained on. I can do some restoration and some alteration, but destruction is my thing. This is the first time you say something understandable. Little bastard. You are really asking for it, huh? Shut up. We are landing. Ho ho. Better land with a sty, hey. Little bastard. Hey. Come back. Control that thin woa. I reached the edge of the fire garden and jumped from the flame Atronach hawk using Featherfall. Still, I didn't forget to send the old bastard on a roller coaster. Hee hee. Jonhild, is that your father over there? Tyr was still there. Depends. He's under my mercy now, so I get to be called Daddy. The flame Atronach hawk was going up and down with my command. He already revealed his weakness to me. If he is not that great with any magic other than fire magic, then he will fall short in diversity compared to me. He may be a strong dragon knight who can jump from the flame Atronach hawk easily, but people who experience flying for the first time don't really think straight. Whoa! Make it stop. The old bastard was about to start screaming at this point. Fine. I commanded the flame Atronach hawk to come down. The old bastard jumped down huffing for breath. Looks like the firemans aren't ready to ride the skies just yet. Little bastard. You do that to your own father? Seems like you two can only be my father when it suits you. Seriously. This kid is too much. Tyr, grab him. Leave me out of it. We should hurry back, half of the clan have heard you two already. Yes. Let's head back before trouble comes. I am afraid it's already too late, the old bastard said as he pointed behind us. I looked to see who came and I found it was a stiff-faced Hilda. She came towards us and was glaring at the old bastard. I was about to think of something funny, but I noticed that she was pissed to the max. This is one of those moments when whoever speaks first gets all the yelling. We need to talk. That's all that she said. Then she turned around and walked back to the fort. Damn it. We need to talk are the magic words. The old bastard deserves it. Uncle Tyr, maybe. I don't think I need to talk though. Still, I walked with them to the fort. We are back at the dining hall, except this time there are only Grandpa, Grandma, Uncle Forsetti, Uncle Njord, Aunt Scotty, Nerina, Hilda, Old John, me, Jullanar, and Nefertiti. Uncle Tyr was told to go, lucky him. It was 1 hour before dawn and the place was quiet. Still, that we need to talk was a bit more than the we I thought of. First thing first, why didn't you come at dinner? Hilda talked to old John, who a bit composed this time. I went to the garden to relax until you and Jonhild arrive. I lost the track of time in there. His reply was solemn. I noticed that there is some bad chemistry between Hilda and old John. Seems like it is not all peaceful. Uncle Forsetti, who was sitting right next to me, started explaining some stuff. During the time I was left in Riften, both Hilda and old John went into a state of grief and sadness. Hilda vented that grief in the form of violence and anger. She attacked all the clans that helped the Thalmor chase her, and made some scary things. Old John, on the other hand, wasn't in the state of rage Hilda had. His sadness took the shape of staying in his place, or staring to space and doing nothing. He started meditating in the fire garden, and would lose the track of time in there. The only thing that could get him out was his friends Tyr and Glemmet, who would go out with each other from time to time. During this time of meditation, old John got absorbed in studying the fire magic to a point that made him invincible when it comes to that magic. He put all his sadness aside and started studying the old ways of the Dragon Knights so that he can keep his grief from manifesting into rage like Hilda. During their state of grief that lasted for 5 years, a rift grew between them and their relationship took a turn for the worse. The next few years, the clan tried to fix their relationship and it worked a few times, but they always go apart again. It is not a form of hate, but it seems they had lost track of how much each one of them has changed. The only good thing was that they were always trying to fix it on their own every once in a while, even though they always got stuck at some point, they still tried. At this point, I understood what the two of them were thinking and smiled. They probably thought that everything will return to normal once I get reunited with them. Sigh. I think they may have gone too far beyond that point. But also I think it will be unfair to break their hearts like this. Jonrad and Hilda probably still have feelings for each other or for their past selves. They are trying to deny how much the other has changed and desperately looking for the chance to fix everything. People need hope. Without it, even the heroes will fall apart. Fortunately, there is one thing I am very sure of: I am a hero. If I am no good to fix the relationship between my mother and my father, then I am one big waste of a hero. I looked at Hilda and Jonrad and saw how much they were looking at each other. Hilda was looking at him, as if he should stand up and scream his emotions that were caged in years to his son the way she did. Jonrad was looking at her, as if she should sit down and calm her emotions that were wild for years of grief over her abandoned son. Expectations. Everyone was expecting the opposite from the other and not even realizing it. Jonrad and Hilda both are war veterans who fought in the Great War. Due to that, their ages should be much greater than their appearances. I learned that we, Firemanes, live longer than most Nord because of the giant's bloodline in us. It seems that a healthy Firemane can live up to 300 years. If my calculations are correct, both Hilda and Jonrad should be in their 50s. In their 50s, and they look as if they were in their 20s, this Titan-born bloodline is sure troublesome. Still, with their age and they can't reach a point where they can understand each other, I guess there is no helping it then, I have to give a hand here. I made an innocent face and spoke. Mom. Dad. Are you guys always like this? I said, and everyone in the hall looked at me. Even Nefertiti read the mood and looked around to see how funny humans look when something unexpected happens. I noticed that the one who was amazed the most was the old bastard. Well, calling you Dad is a one-time thing, don't get used to it. The one who reacted first was Grandma Jenna. She covered her mouth, who curved into a smile and spoke, sometimes. Don't worry about it, Jonhild. Adults get things right in the end, right? Grandma Jenna said and acted very calm and cool. You can't imagine something can't be solved for that woman. Hilda, whose face was angry just before I speak and became stupefied after I spoke, heard what Grandma Jenna said and nodded. Yes, Ma. It's okay, Jonhild. Mother and Father were just arguing about nothing important. Jonrad made a wide smile and nodded to me to confirm her words. I was a bit worried, but it is good they got some self-awareness. To tell the truth, if they arrived at a point where they can't see eye to eye after my arrival, their relationship would have crumpled instantly. They have already gone too far from each other. I guess they at least deserve some guiding to the path where they don't screw it up. Sigh. If it wasn't for fate, then I guess they would have become great at being parents. I should at least help them based on that. Their smiles hanged on their faces for a while, and they seemed to have come to a realization about what I did. Then they laughed at the same time. I said it before. This brat can be just too much. The old bastard was shaking his head while laughing. Hilda too was laughing. The rest started understanding what have I done one by one and laughed as well. I guess not every word of power is a Thursday after all. Still, I was not out of the woods yet. The next word that Grandpa said made my mood turn gloomy. Now that we can put this aside, thanks to Jonhild, we need to talk about the most important thing. I also must apologize to Archwizard Nurina for not waiting any longer and depriving you of your rest time. It is fine, Patriarch Termund. If this matter is regarding the boy, then I will be there anytime. Regarding me, huh? Thank you for your consideration. Sigh. I have been imagining how this conversation we are about to have will go for the past 16 years. Our child has finally grown up and came back to us. I think it is the time we dot the I's and cross the T's. Chapter 127 Firemane 6. Jullanar the Brave. Sigh. I have been imagining how this conversation we are about to have will go for the past 16 years. Our child has finally grown up and came back to us. I think it is the time we dot the I's and cross the T's, Grandpa said and looked at me. Well, these are some fancy words, old man. It is like that Arabic idiom we used to say when we want to make everything clear and end the confusion about something. Well, I am listening. First, regarding the assassin girl. Her name is Jullanar. I spoke in a cold tone. It seems they wanted to take the conversation somewhere I won't be happy with. The hall turned silent when I interrupted Grandfather. The situation was getting awkward, but it was him who started talking about something he shouldn't talk about. Jonhild, this is important. Aunt Scotty spoke. I know she is important, I said. Boy, do you know her background? Do you know how many people she killed? Do you even know her real name? Uncle Njord spoke in a deep tone. He has a point. Still. Jull, I spoke. Jullanar, whose expressions can't be seen, removed her hood and stood up. The girl with the pale gray skin, the brown eyes, and the black hair walked to the front of everyone and faced Uncle Njord. I didn't think she would have the courage to do so after what he did to her. Last time these two met was in a prison cell in Castle Duar of Solitude. That time, Jullanar was left to die with her wounds. I know that Firemanes got all overprotective and angry when my life was targeted, so they questioned the only thing they could reach, and Jull was the one. She is now facing the most terrifying powerhouses in the Firemanes. Njord, the chief captain of the Firemane fleet. Scotty, the chief of the Firemane trading business. Forsetti, the chief on the secret force. Termund, the clan head and the war chief. Jenna, the first lady of the clan and one of the strongest mages in the hidden clans. This girl of mine stood and faced all of them alone. One thing I am sure of is that the place she is standing at is the last place anyone who has made a problem with the Firemanes would wish to stand at. My background is John Dare's follower and servant. Whatever he wishes my background would be, then it is my background. If you are asking about the girl you met in the prison that time, then I am happy to inform you that she died there. The one you are looking at is the one John Dare breathed soul into. Regarding how many I killed since the time I came to life is about 122 living soul, all in the name of John Dare. There are a couple of kills I did just for fun, but it was all for a good reason. And my real name is Jullanar. I don't think any name I was called with before matters anymore. This is the name that John Dare gave me and the only name that brought me luck. With that name, I am free and can do whatever I want. Any questions left I can answer? She just said in a cool manner and with a faint smile. Well said, girl. I looked at the people around, and some of them already had their brows up while looking between Jullanar and me. Scotty was the first to recover. What she said is all true, I said. She is one of my people, someone I value and put my trust in. It is true that we only know each other for a year, but in that year she was the closest person to me, even though I mistreated her a bit in the beginning. She cooked my food, washed my clothes, healed my wounds, poured my mead, watched my back, and warmed my bed. In this world, the only people I would never doubt are Nurina, Wulfur, Jullanar, and Nefertiti. I said. Ha ha, this brat is good. Jonhild said. Who was Nefertiti again? Meow. Oh, hey there. Jonhild. From what I understand, there is no arguing with you about her. Grandpa said. Well, this is the first day we met each other and you are already trying to meddle in my business. I can understand your concern and I appreciate it, but I guess we have already gone too far beyond the point where you get to decide something for me. I said. The hall became silent once again. He is right, Hilda said. It is not our rule to decide anything for him. He has already grown up all these years on his own, and we need to make peace that the child we left at Riften is now the leader of a business that controls 1/9 of Skyrim and went head-on against the Bloodsail on his own and sent them to the bottom of the sea. Hilda's words made them go silent. I also would like to add that he is born under the Serpent's stars, so we don't really get to decide anything for him, especially when he is about to get through the adulthood ceremony, Jonhild said. Grandpa Termund started thinking for a bit, didn't reply. What Jonhild said is true, and I really like the girl. Grandma Jenna dropped another bomb. Sigh. I guess there is no helping it then. I thought it would come to this too. Grandpa Termund wasn't stubborn about the matter, it seemed. But we can't neglect the influence of the Dark Brotherhood. They don't let a contract go, and they don't let a traitor go too. Scotty said. That puts me and Jull on the same boat, I said. But if the Black Sacrament was performed, Scotty said. The Dark Brotherhood has no listener, the Black Sacrament can't be performed, I said. How do you know that? Scotty said. The last listener was killed in Cyrodiil a few years ago in the fight between Skoma gangs. The coffin of the Night Mother was taken to Skyrim by its keeper, yet he was not welcomed by the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim. It seemed that the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim has converted its beliefs from cultist killers to contracted ones, I said. Are you sure about that? Forsetti asked. Yes. The keeper's location is unknown to me, unfortunately. At this point, I had to lie. I actually know where the keeper is, but interfering with him means interfering with the future. The future that I want to keep as predictable as possible. What is your source? The source is me. I have gained an inside information on the Brotherhood, and I plan to send an agent to infiltrate their ranks in the future. Foo-foo. My son is obsessed with spying too. Jonhild was amused for some reason. Is it a good thing, I wonder? It is good we know this much information now. It may need some time to confirm, but the clan can do a lot relying on this information you provided," Uncle Forsetti said. "Glad to be of help. With this, all said and done, I think this is time to move to the next subject," Grandpa Termund said. "Yes, this is regarding you, Jonhild," Grandma said. "I hope that the people of this room are very aware of the prophecy of that moth priest about Jonhild acquiring 3 Elder Scrolls in the future." The conversation finally took a serious turn. "Jonhild, I hope that you understand that this is no small matter. This will bring a lot of trouble to you in the future," she said. "Yes, I am well aware." "Good. Then do you understand what an Elder Scroll is?" she asked. The Elder Scrolls, also called the Edric Prophecies, are scrolls of unknown origin and number which simultaneously archive both past and future events. The number of the scrolls is unknown not because of their immense quantity, but because the number itself is unknowable, as the scrolls do not exist in countable form. They are fragments of creation from outside time itself, and their use in divining prophecies is but a small part of their power," I said. "You know well. Then you know how important these scrolls are. Only the Empire as the strongest superpower in the Tamriel managed to keep the Elder Scrolls under their watch. Even the Aldemari Dominion is lusting for them." "I understand. An Elder Scroll has various dangerous powers that may devastate a whole army, and a child fated with 3 of them is rather a problem even for the Empire itself," I said. "It is true. The Empire neglected to aid Hilda 16 years ago to not cause a political problem and used the Dominion to do the dirty work for them." "I always thought it was suspicious," I said. "Due to that, we'd like to keep the knowledge of your survival a secret in our clan and the Moonblade clan. Also, your father's and your mother's whereabouts are secret." "You mean the whole family is wanted?" "Well, your father was a blade, your mother caused a lot of casualties in the ranks of the Dominion and many other clans, add to them yourself who is considered a child of destiny. I guess you are right, that's one unlucky family you 3. Hee. I think I can live with that. Who wouldn't want a fully wanted family being chased down by murderous beings? Unless they are Terminators, of course." "I am glad you are accepting it this easy," Grandma said with a smile. "Never mind. As long as we are all on the same page, then this is all right." The people in the room smiled, and everyone nodded in approval. "Ha! Of course, he wouldn't be afraid of some Thalmor or those scrawny bloodsails. I have tested his metal back in the garden, and he almost blew me away. The old bastard was showing me off for some reason." "Wait, John entered the garden?" Hilda asked. "If I remember, she arrived a little bit too late when I was playing with Jonrad on the Flame Atronak Hawk." "Yes, he went in there after Tyr brought him over. I think Tyr wanted me to get out, but I never thought that the rascal would reach the rock. He's still Che," Jonrad said with a grin. "Wait a second. He reached the rock?" Grandpa Termund jumped from his place. "What's wrong with that? It was hard, but was it that hard? They are looking at me as if I am some sort of a freak now. Even Hilda. Something wrong." "Hello. They are just wounding how you did it. I flew in there to avoid the heat on the land. Well, you reached the rock which no one else other than me and my father did. Aha. Is it supposed to be hard?" "Well, not from the first try. Well, I wouldn't have endured the heat all that long. It still counts as a success from the first time." I guess it's a good thing then." Supposedly, the dangers of the fire garden are more than just the heat. The poisonous gas is not something one should go near to. "Yeah, Uncle Tyr told me. Also, the energy of the place is very harmful. This is the most dangerous thing about the place." The energy? Suddenly, my head felt light. I remember absorbing some of it myself. "Yes. You shouldn't try to use it. If someone absorbed it, then the magicka in their body may go out of control and injure them until it drains itself from them. It is really one tricky and mysterious energy," Jonrad said. For some reason, I started sweating. I remember absorbing that energy and facing some resistance, but nothing happened. The energy got suppressed in the end and got absorbed easily. I shouldn't hide that. Ahem. About the energy thing, there is that thing that happened. Chapter 128 Firemane 7. The Fantastic Jonhild. I told Jonrad about me absorbing the energy. The people who were about to recover from me reaching the center of the garden froze again. This time Jonrad joined them. "This is not going anywhere," I said as I observed their shocked expressions. "John, I guess I understand the reason." Nurina, who was there all the time, spoke. "Oh, please enlighten us, Archwizard. Will the boy be okay?" Grandpa woke up immediately and looked at Nurina with full seriousness. "Foo-foo. It is not that hard, it is about John's magicka. You see, John has a very interesting form of training called the magicka cultivation. From what I noticed, John uses the high-grade outer energies to mutate his own inner energy and increase it. The first time he did that was in the Eldergleam Sanctuary, as he reported to me that he drained himself from the magicka and absorbed the energy surrounding the Eldergleam, which caused his magicka to be thick and heavy. He can use his magicka with lesser effort to make a greater result. His technique is a secret between us, though. Regarding what he did in the fire garden, he absorbed a very wild form of energy and managed to suppress it with his magicka. It seems that whatever energy lurks in that fire garden is higher in quality than that of the Eldergleam," Nurina said. "She literally dropped a bomb here. Wait, our fire garden has more power than the oldest known living thing in Tamriel." Uncle Njord was taken aback. "Not more, but higher in quality. John just confirmed it. When it comes to magical energy research, I and my students take pride at being ahead of many other experts in the art. John himself is 1-in-1,000 years prodigy when it comes to manipulating the magical energy." "Foo-foo. I know. Praise me more. I like being looked at as a freak like that. Kinda satisfying." "Well, we can't expect anything less from the son of Jonrad, right?" "Ha!" Grandpa said, and tried to make a weird understanding, then laughed it off. "Ha ha. Right, IALS, Jonrad was also about to get cocky. Wait just a minute right here. What does that old bastard have to do with any of this? I had to stop him from acting cocky, it gets on my nerve." "Ahem. John, father is, Hilda wanted to make peace, but... What's with that attitude, little bastard? Not happy you're as cool as your old man? Who would be happy being like you? I am 10 times better than you and 100 times more handsome." "This means war, little bastard. Want to go one more time?" Jonrad wanted to fight. "Heh. This time I'll use a Thursdayum that will blow you to oblivion." "Really? Just because you mastered a Thursdayum doesn't mean you can get your way with me." "Wait a minute here." Grandpa Termund meddled in. "Seriously, stop interrupting me every time. Did you just say Jonhild mastered a Thursdayum?" he asked. "Is it news for you?" "Yeah. It was a long time ago when I saw him using the 3 words. When was it?" "He was being chased by the Bloodhorkers in his new ship then. He did that crazy skating on a table while being dragged by fire horses, then jumped on the ship, and when he got chased, he shouted 3 words at them and they smashed into the rock. It was marvelous, but I had to interfere to not make any loose ends go back to the blood sails." "So that was you? I thought I shot a fireball at some explosive substance at that time. Anyway, I tried to test the boy's mettle in the garden and he retaliated at me with a Thursdayum. Really scared me this time." "Yeah. You survived with a hair's wit. Jonhild, did you use a full 3 words on your father? You've got to be careful. The Thursdayum is not a power you should misuse like that. Being talented in it is only a gift from Kine, it is a power to worship the gods with, son." Hilda turned all motherly. "Still, it is an amazing feat to master a shout in his age. We should reward him. It seemed that Grandma is always on my side. You are right, Mother, it is an unwritten tradition, but for those who master a shout, a reward should be presented to encourage the younger generation on walking that long path. Jord confirmed her words. Thanks. It seemed coming here is a good idea. Excuse me. Jullanar spoke, and everyone looked at her. What happens if someone mastered more than one shout? She asked. The hall turned silent. Sigh. Only Hilda and Father managed to do that. Jord can use one shout and Hermod can use one word. I think Phrygia also managed to shout a word once, but she fainted. The only talented one with the Thursday we know so far is Alina, and as she managed to shout at the age of 14. But Jonhild completely destroyed that legend now. Grandma said. Oh. If I remember, John first shouted when he was 12. Nerina said. 12. Many voiced were taken aback. Yes. He tried to teach me, but I was no good. I don't remember how many words he can use, but it seems they are a lot. Nerina said. Yes, John has mastered 4 shouts and 2 single words. Jullanar continued. They were all silent. I really tried to hide how many words I learned. FO 4? Mastered 4 you said? Even the cool grandma can lose her cool. Yes. He can fully use 4 shouts. Ah. This girl can jest well. Ah. Grandpa laughed at her words. The others also laughed. He did. Nerina said. This time they stopped laughing. Archwizard Nerina, with all due respect, you surely jest. A kid at his age barely had the time to master 3 words. The most talented voice masters can master a word in a year. If he started practicing at the age of 12, then it has been 4 years, and he at the very most can master 4 words, that if he did nothing else but practicing and only practicing. Grandma said in a serious tone. Even the rest had serious faces. You guys are not trusting her, are you? Hilda, which of these 4 words can I use? I asked. I think they are fuss, row, and da, as well as wood that you used in your duel with Alina, she said. Very well. Ahem. Las ya near. I performed a shout. It was felt by everyone around and nothing really happened. That. What was it? Hilda asked. Not every Thursday is a shout. Some can be called whispers. This is called aura whisper. With it, I can see everything that has an aura even through walls. Let's see, in this keep, 94 people are sleeping, the basement has around 10 people, and outside the keep, there are 50 people on the walls. Also, the town has almost mumble, around 700 people living there. This means you guys know I can use 7 words. I can use more, but I would wake everyone up if I used them. I know it is not good to reveal such a thing, by my strongest point is the Thursdayum. I wouldn't get to be derived from that. But it seems that was too much for their heads. After they woke up from there, I stopped counting, shock. I was hammered with questions left and right. Of course, I am not a Dragonborn for nothing, you know. I learned some facts from this conversation with them. Unlike I thought before, the Thursdayum is not that popular among the hidden clans. Only very few people can use it, and they are considered the top fighters of the clan. Even Jonrad himself can't use the Thursdayum, even with his all-Dragonite thing that he is so crazy about. One more thing other than the difference in the speed of learning the Thursdayum. The Thursdayum I use is so strong, stronger than the ones they use. When Jonrad described the unrelenting force that I used, the difference seemed to appear, and I realized that my shout was just too powerful compared to the normal voice masters. If I shouted the first word fuss, I can push an adult 10 meters to the back. But if someone like Grandpa Termund used it, he may only push an adult 4 or 5 meters. I also can shout again after 2 or 3 minutes without the amulet of Talos I have, but others would need at least half an hour to recover and another half to use it once again. Of course, we don't live in the golden days of the Thursdayum anymore. Back then, when Jurgen Windcaller created the Order of the Greybeards, He battled against the 17 schools of the Thursdayum for 3 days and made them his disciples. This is how great the Thursdayum was back then. Anyway, the family conference ended on, give us some time to digest all that, and everyone went on his way. Hilda dragged me to outside the fort to show me my old man's place. It seems he doesn't live in the keep with the rest of the firemans. His house is in an isolated place in the glade. Well, whatever. Let's go see that home. Still, is it twilight already? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Chapter 129 Firemane 8 Homecoming. The light started dyeing the sky with its color, the cold light of dawn shone upon the world. To a certain family in an isolated glade, this day is the day they always dreamed of for 16 years. The day when they all walk home together. Sigh. It has been years. Jonhild said while walking beside me. Don't get all sentimental on me, old man. Your cold attitude is making it easier not to be sentimental. You should thank me then. Indeed, I need to thank you for a lot of things, he said. Don't mention it, I said. Your mother looks younger now, he said. You guys look like people in their 20s. How younger do you want her to look like? Well, when you live as long as I did, you will notice these small details. I looked at Hilda, who was smiling brightly while walking with Nurina and Jullanar in the front. She was smiling and waving her hands all around, telling some tale about her journeys. I hope life treats you guys kindly from now on. I know the world will fall into chaos 4 years from now, but at least let's make them have 4 peaceful years. My father and mother must have been through a lot. A great war no one could imagine how it looked like, a struggle in Hammerfell's desert against the tyranny of the Aldmeri Dominion, a chase through Cryodile, High Rock, and Skyrim, an emotional struggle and desire for vengeance. And finally, when they returned to each other, they didn't recognize one another anymore. A crack was formed between them that only their son can fill. I guess I should at least do them that much. I may not have a strong attachment to the Firemans, but I actually like them. I don't feel any hostility from any one of them, and they treat me really nice. Sigh. I think I should also relax in this peaceful place. I have built up a lot of anxiety lately. You are sighing like your old man. Hilda heard me sighing and turned around to add that unnecessary comment. I don't care anymore. Where is Nefertiti? I asked. Here. It seems that Jull was carrying her. Give her to me. I want to heal for a bit. I took Nefertiti, who was sleeping in Jull's arms. Holding her like this makes all the trouble in the world feel like nothing. What's with you and that cat anyway? I have never seen a Firemane so attached to cats. Jonhild asked. Because all firemans are puppy-loving heathens. They should be electrified on a chair for their denial of the cat supremacy. This kid is a lost cause, Nurina said. Humph, I snorted. Since when do you have a cat anyway? Last year Nurina said nothing about it. Hilda said. Have? A cat? No ho-ho. No one can own a cat. Cats own people. Hilda and Jonhild got confused. Here he goes again. Nurina held her head. Cats are the noblest beings in existence. No one can own a cat, as it is the other way around. Cats don't own just people, cats actually own the world. I started educating the puppy-loving heathens. Cats? Own the world? Jonhild was overwhelmed. If they do, why aren't they taking over already? Hilda asked with a smile. Good question. Cats are not taking over because they are just too lazy to do so. These heathens should be enlightened about the faith of the great cat goddess. Listen up, poor souls. The cats are teach. Give me a break already, Nurina said and covered her ears. Anyway, I kept preaching for the holy word of the great cat goddess all the way. It wasn't too long, but I feel that their souls have been cleansed already. Jullanar, who is one of the fanatics of the Holy Cat Creed, was listening carefully. The others who had lesser faith had their eyes all white and held their heads. This is the effect of the puppyism going away. Must be tough. This is not natural, something is very wrong. Hilda was finally seeing the light. I know, you were lucky since you avoided this far, Nirina said. How can this be? All that was too much. Jonhild said. For a big heathen like himself, it surely should be too much. You just feel like that the first few times. Once the light of the Holy Cat illuminates your soul, you will be free forever. Jullanar, as a senior fanatic, said, but her eyes looked a bit unnatural, maybe my imagination. Well, we are home, Hilda said as she became refreshed for the fact. I looked around and saw a house at the side of the mountain. I raised my brows in admiration. Not bad. Not bad at all. The house in front of me is a one-story wide building. It has a small garden beside it that has a lot of herbs and mushrooms. There are some trees around and a small barn. It looked like a forest retreat for vacations with all the snow and the faint greenery around it. Jonhild like the place? Hilda asked. Looks great. Haha. I built it on my own after all, took me 2 months. Jonhild was acting cocky again. Jonhild has a beautiful house too. It is like nothing you can do, don't be too proud. Hilda retaliated for me. He has. Yes, his place has a basement and an attic. I told you we needed a basement, but you kept saying no one makes them anymore. It is true. And they started arguing about their preferences. But I think the place looks nice, it has its calmness, unlike my sea mist manor that tends to be the place where all my business partners come to visit me. Also, the basement is the place of the training area, the vault, and the bathtub. This place doesn't need all that complications. It is a place where one should just relax. I think I like the place, I said. Haha. Take that, Hilda. Jonhild was making a victory pose. You're not out of the woods yet, the place really needs an attic. Even a small one with a big circular window, and I participated in the debate of house designing too. The argument continued until we got in. The place looked simple and cozy from the inside, even with the snow of the outside. The cold weather was barely felt here. Jonhild kept his act and lit the place with his magic. He used flame magic in a very skillful way that made Nirina nod in approval. So our things has arrived here. Jull took notice of some crates. They were ours. I made sure everything gets done smoothly. Now let me show you where you will stay, Hilda said, and started showing Nirina and Jullanar to their rooms. She then gestured for me to follow. After I followed, she showed me to a room. This is yours, Jonhild. We always kept cleaning it. I looked inside and couldn't help but smile. It looked a bit small compared to my normal standard, but it felt as it should be, a room of a son in his parents' house. It is nice, I said. I know, right? Look, here you can put your books, here is the... She kept talking about the things she did in the room. I noticed that Jonhild also came behind me, and was smiling at what he was seeing. Hilda, the captain of a big from yesterday who made 100-man shudder from her glare, is acting all motherly now. In unison, Jonhild and I started giggling while watching her. She looked at us as if betrayed. You know what? You two are just the worst, out of my way, she said and walked outside. It was hard not to laugh, but once she got out, Jonhild and I made stiff faces to each other. Get out, old man. I want to change. TCH. Jerk. Heard it. Meant it. Seems like things get like that when one is more handsome than his old man. No one slept after we got home. I thought I will sleep for sure, but it was day already and Nirina sat in front of the fireplace to make some coffee. As a follower of the same faith, I joined her with an empty mug and high expectations. After all these years, you are now home, she said. Heh heh. It is still too early to start regretting it. I said. Ha ha. Brat, I know you the best, there is no way I regret it. True. To me, Nurina is an irreplaceable person. The part that yearns for Hilda as a mother is not the same part that sees Nurina as a mother. The two different people within me have their own mother preferences too. Anyway, it seems you covered the problem between Hilda and Jonhild really well. Yeah. It would break my heart if after all these years they couldn't make it, I said. Speaking of which, Nurina said and smiled at me. It was a wide smile that had a lot of naughtiness. She made a spell that I understood what it is. Oh. You are horrible. I am not eavesdropping. A brother or a sister. Shut up. Underscore 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 underscore. Sorry for the late publish. Chapter 130 Coming of Age 1. The Race. Days passed. Fun days. I liked them. Every day is something new, something fun. Nurina is here, Jullanar is here, Hilda is here, Nefertiti is here, and Jonhild is here. We lived for almost a week together like a family. I saw everything there is to see in this place. I visited the beast tribes that live with the Firemanes. I made friends. I became so attached to the place. How long has it been since I felt like that? Years? Maybe. I always had my friends and I never missed anything, but this time I feel rather. I don't know the word, but I feel like I have all that I asked for. I feel thankful. Thankful? I remember my name from my past life also meant thankful. The irony. Anyway, here is my report for the past week. Day 1. It was a full home-staying event. I cooked. Jonhild says that he cooked but he only helped, yet he says that he cooked and I helped. Don't really understand how his work. Anyway, Jullanar got really close to Hilda and Jonhild. Day 2. Hilda took me for the direwolf tribe to visit Ilva. Too many puppies. I hated it. Still, wolves are better than dogs in my opinion. We went also to visit the Night Owl tribe, where we met Forseti, Great Bear tribe where Grandpa was spending time with his partner, Singing Snake Cave where Uncle Tyr stays, Hunter Fox tribe, and Snowhawk tribe. Day 3. Wolfer came with Scotty and Bjorna. I also got to meet Scotty's husband, who is a very easygoing fellow. His name is Sigurd Moonblade. Anyway, it seems that Wolfer started raising a bear. Day 4. We went out and joined the gathering in the clan's keep for dinner. Before eating, Hafthor made up a competition that the elder agreed to it, and an unarmed fight was announced before eating. No aura allowed, no magic allowed, no Thursdayum allowed, just fists and kick. I may have become tall, but I was still the same nimble monkey that participated in the tourney a year ago. Still, winning wasn't easy. I had to kick the hell out of Hafthor and Vilker before they give up. Day 5. Jonhild went to the fire garden and Hilda told me to go with him, so don't forget about time and return the second day. I went with him, but this time it was hard to reach the central area on foot. I picked a place I could withstand the heat in and started getting a taste from the energy of the place. It was indeed wild, yet it blended into me greatly in the end. I felt like it got dissolved every time I absorbed some of it. I was careful to not absorb too many, but I ended up getting excited. I also may have discovered a way to make a Magicka nature change technique. After some time I took the sky on a flame Atronach hawk, and reached Jonhild to pick him up. He kept begging me later to teach him the spell, so I promised I would give him the flame Atronach horse spell later. Day 6. We returned the second day. Hilda gave us an earful. I also had to get ready for tomorrow's gathering. Day 7, today. The Firemane members gathered in the training courtyard in front of the keep, and all the elders were standing on a high platform. The 10 participants this year are 5 boys and 5 girls, that includes Alina, Wolfer, and Jullanar. Listen up, brats. I know some of you wants to compete, it is all good and fine, but I want you all to be careful. You are not going alone to the Serpent Stone Isle. This place is right at the doorsteps of our clan's enemies. They also may send their young bastards there. Grandpa Termund said. Now I want you to remember one thing and remember it very damn well. Every one of you needs to kill only one ice wraith on his or her own. Those who can't make it will wander the land to find his own prey alone until he or she returns with the proof. Uncle Njord said. The rule is simple, go and come 2 in weeks at most. Whoever comes late will go hunt one more time on his or her own. Uncle Heimdall said. There is one more rule this year. Out there, your brother Jonhild is called John Dare, the Thane of Winterhold and a distant relative to our clan who will be joining the house. This is for his safety and also for the clan. This also is a secret from the town's younglings, Scotty said, and the 10 of us nodded. Now, open the gate. Grandpa said, and the gate of the courtyard opened. Some people from the outside came in. On the lead were few adults who came in and greeted Grandpa in haste. Followed them some young ones who were around our age. They also greeted the elders and greeted us with respect. These are the people from the town. Treat them well as they are our soldiers and closest men. Hafthor whispered to me. The young ones who join us are around 30. They are all from the houses that serve the clan in the town outside. Their number is around 30 and the male/female ratio was equal. Now, everyone is well aware of the rules. You are allowed to go. Each one of you must return with a flask of an ice wraith essence. Help each other out if needed. Now go. Grandpa said. Everyone here was suited and booted and have a big weapon on his back. I had my hammer and saber and donned my savior's hide. Wolfer was carrying his Skyforge warhammer and an axe on each side. Jull and Alina looked beautiful in their black armors. Listen up, boys. Hafthor spoke up. There are 2 small ships waiting for us in White River. One for us boys, one for the girls. You know what that means. Yeah. Let's get them this time. Haha. Let's do it. Only Vilker was happy about it and the others seemed not even motivated. I don't want to know what happened to make them like this, but I hope we don't look bad at the very least. Phrygia, daughter of Njord, mocked Hafthor and declared that the competition will start as a race to the ships in White River. Hafthor foolishly agreed and started rallying us to run, but we found out that the girls were prepared in advance and 20 horses were brought as they rode ahead of us. Hafthor looked pale and started looking around for horses, but it seemed it will take time to prepare 20 for the boys. Sigh. What an unlucky start. I now know why no one was even motivated. Listen up, I said. Is there any carriages? 2, Vladimir said. But don't expect them to carry 10 each and run faster than the girls. Just bring them and bring many ropes. In a minute everything was prepared. I was also conjuring flame Atronak horses. Once the boys saw them, I have already been declared the Lord and the Savior. Vladimir, take that staff and command those 6. Tie them to a carriage and get moving. 6 horses and 1 carriage. Yes, cousin. He was already fired up to command them 6. I kept conjuring another 6 without a staff and roped them to the carriage and rode. It felt a bit royal to have 6 horses, but we rode so fast and caught up with Vladimir, who rode first. We were already going through the town and the people were freaking out from the scene. Vladimir, where are they? Hafthor, who was with me, called out. They are ahead. We are a bit late. Wolfer, who was with Vladimir, replied. They can't run too fast or their horses will get tired. A flame Atronak horse is faster and will never get tired. Don't worry about it and push forward, I assured Hafthor, and he rallied the message to Vladimir. The run kept going as we went out of the town and kept riding on full speed at the wide road between the town and the under-mountain tunnel. As we could see the entrance to the tunnel, we saw the last of the girls going in. Now we caught up. Make sure that you light the way ahead. Full speed. Catch them! Ha ha! John. You are the best. We rode into the tunnel, but we had to slow down for the carriages to not get damaged. The stone gate was opened and the girls were riding out. As they did, the last one of them could already see us. They rode slowly, thinking we will never catch up. Just like that story of the rabbit and the tortoise, but this time, the tortoise has become the panther they need to run from. This will be fun. Chapter 131, Coming of Age 2. Sorry for not publishing Skyrim yesterday. I was not feeling well. Phrygia. They are coming. A girl. What? Impossible. Phrygia. I told you John will make something happen. Jullanar. Even if Senior is with them, how can he command these idiots around? Alina. Focus on riding. We still have the lead. Bjorna. What is that? Horses on fire? Phrygia. These are the horses that young Signy talked about. It seems that John can summon them. Veka. They are flame atronachs. Alina. Can you make them? Phrygia. Only 4. Alina. Jullanar. Bjorna. 2. Jullanar. Damn it. John can make 12 on his own? Alina. He spent yesterday training hard. Jullanar. Not fair. Alina. I told he is too selfish to even let a child win. Jullanar. Line formation. Block their path. Phrygia. Too late. Hafthor. Vladimir, push forward. Get those puppy-loving heathens. Me. Spare me from that. Hold tight, we are going through. Vladimir. And that was the apex of the competition. We caught up the girls just after we went out of the mountain tunnel. Vladimir, who was in the front, advanced and I followed. The girls didn't put up much resistance. After a while, we passed through Kynesgrove and took the road to Windhelm. When we reached the platform from where Hilda's ship docked last time, we found 3 small ships waiting for us, and Uncle Valle was there too. So Hafthor's team won. That was unexpected, he said. No thanks to him though. Vladimir, who was all smiles, looked down on Hafthor. Are we taking the ships now? I asked. No, wait for the girls. Uncle Valle said. He is the youngest uncle we have and had a daughter in the girls' team. Due to his age, he is the closest uncle to the boys' team. He praised my flame Atronach horses non-stop. To every Firemane, these horses looked so glorious and amazing that they begged me to teach them the spell. Due to my superiority complex, I decided to develop the spell and give them the normal version that I use. Anyway, and after half an hour, Alina and Jullanar appeared on flame Atronach horses, while the rest of the group was riding theirs out-of-breath horses. Phrygia. Never make light of me again. The competitive freak, Hafthor, started making a tantrum. The one I am not making light of is John. You will wait until I deal with you, Phrygia said. Facing her first loss, Phrygia, who is considered the princess of the Firemans, was completely frustrated. She looked at me and glared. We are not done yet. We will race in the sea to the Serpentstone Isle, then we will compete on who hunts their share first, and lastly who returns first. Do you accept? Phrygia put up a series of challenges. It seems that she wants to beat me at least 3 times to feel satisfied. I do, I said. Alina was grinning and Jullanar was shaking her head. I could already understand how Phrygia's head worked. She just wants to defeat me 3 times in a row so that she can feel good. Also, I notice that she has a plan for everything already. From what I see, there are 3 ships. A big one for Uncle Valle, and that one will be used to monitor us during the hunt. The other 2 are the same size as the ship of mine which were prepared for us. Fine. Stop glaring at each other. Each team takes a ship and start moving before the winter is over already. Uncle Valle said. We moved each to his ship and started sailing. The winds weren't really in our favor, but we noticed what the girls prepared. Senior will be waiting for you ahead. Alina said as she was making wind for the ship by her magic. So it can be used like that too. I went into some deep thoughts. John, the girls are already far from us. Hafthor went pale. Vladimir and the others lost their competitive souls too. Sigh. We will do it again, I said. Wait, you will make the horses drag the ship on water? Vladimir asked. Nope, just give me the staff and I'll think of something. Hafthor, we need more speed. Wulfr, all the ropes we can use. Yes. Fine. On it. The one captaining the ship was Hafthor due to him being the most talented in sailing and many other things among us. Still, I was taking the lead. This speed good enough? Maintain it. We were sailing in the right direction, but we had enough speed. I started doing the summons too. Ropes. Tie them there, and there. I started giving another set of instructions until everything got ready. I don't want to know what are you thinking, but that looks dangerous, Hafthor said. Just tie them to the ropes and make sure the sails doesn't slow us when we turn. Ready. 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 The boys were already done. Vladimir, you take control of the staff like last time. Understood. Now fly. The flame Atranak hawks flew in the air and started going slowly into the direction of the ship until they became the force that pulls it. Good. Now let's turn together. Hafthor, take down the sails. The ship was now an Atranak-powered ship pulled by 7 flying Atranak. Shore's bones. This is working. The ship has already taken a turn and started chasing after the other 2 ships. Our speed was fast. The flame Atranak hawks doesn't follow the same principles real birds follow for flying. They are actually floating by magic then gliding into the air. This made the ability to slow down greatly in the air and also has the ability to pull something like that. 4 birds with their size, flying on that low speed is impossible, but they could achieve that and even accelerate more. It is the same trick, but it feels much better. I know. We will get them in an hour though. Can Alina make the firebirds? No. This is exclusively my personal spell. Still. Here wind magic is sure useful for sailing. She will run out of magicka soon. She can't maintain it all that time. Here they are. Someone shouted. We looked towards where he pointed and found our sisters sailing their way forward. Also, Uncle Vala's ship was already ahead of them. Our 3 ships were all Nordic longboats, so they mostly had one large mainsail, and that's what Alina focused her magic on. Look, what is that again? Hey, don't tell me it is them. They are sailing with no sails. They are pulling the ship by Atronachs. Do you finally believe me? John doesn't even let little children win, no matter how much they cried. Senior, not fair, this is not sailing. You are cheating. The girls saw defeat once again. Hafthor, I said. Yes. What did you learn from today? I asked. Sigh. He learned nothing. If we want to win, let's win dirty. If we are going to lose, we lose with style. I gave him some of my wisdom. He looked at me and scratched his chin, then smiled. The trip to the Serpent Stone would take 3 days or 2 at the very best. We sailed for 2 days till now. So, how was life treating you the past week? I was sitting beside Wulfr and eating some dried meat. Nice. We couldn't talk the past week. Well, Jonrad and Hilda didn't let go of me. I am sure you have a bear to raise now too. Yes. He was smiling. Things between you and Bjorna. Fine, I like the way things are getting lately. Good for you. I heard you were training in the forge of the keep lately. Yes, it was really a good place. I need to ask you about something though. Wulfr was worried about something. He thought about his choice of weapons lately and he feels a bit uncomfortable. I knew about his late blooming talent though. It may cause him a bit of worry, but he will discover himself later. His talent is weapon mastery. Wulfr is just too scary when you put a simple dagger in his hand. I dare to say that a straw in his hand will turn into a weapon. I, who likes to use a lot of weapons, lose in no time if I clashed blades with Wulfr now. He is that scary. He still is confused about that. He can use any melee weapon very well to the point that he thinks of himself as a person with no talent in weapons. I tried to convince him otherwise, but he is a bit stubborn. So, wanna see a new weapon? I tried to lure him away from his heavy mood. A new weapon? You are too obvious, but let's hear it. I started telling him about a weapon from fantasies. The weapon really suited him greatly with his talent of destroying stuff. The weapon was the Armor Slayer, from Fire Emblem. Wulfr loved the idea of the weapon, and started making plans on how to forge it and make it balanced. Well, I guess he is now less frustrated than before. John. We arrived. Hafthor called for me. Good. That's our win then, I said. I am afraid we'll have to put that aside now, Vladimir said and pointed out. Bloodsail's ship. Chapter 132, Coming of Age 3. The one whose surname is Dare. Extra this week, January 2nd. John. We arrived. Hafthor called for me. Good. That's our win then, I said. I am afraid we'll have to put that aside now, Vladimir said and pointed out. Bloodsail's ship. What are they doing here? I asked. They seem to have sent their hatchlings to hunt ice wraiths. Hafthor came and said. They seem to have spotted us too, Wulfr said. By ancient traditions, the clans that have animosity between each other are not allowed to attack each other's young ones unless it is an open battle, else they would face the wrath of all the clans combined, Vladimir said. I see. I pondered a bit and thought. So 16 years ago. An exception, John. You still are, Vladimir said. I am officially the #1 wanted by the Dominion, the Empire, and all those who are afraid of my clan. Anyway, we should wait until Uncle Valle arrives. They may try to provoke us, so hide Vilker away for now. Hafthor said. Why me? Vilker became angry all of a sudden. Because you are a damn idiot. Go to the back. Ragnar, watch him. Ragnar nodded and dragged Vilker away. Vilker is a foolhardy and an honest person. The moment he hates someone, then it's war. Sigh. But it would be a problem if the bloodsails started moving on us. I need to make a call. I opened my bag and took out a scroll, something that Nurina created herself, which means its value is crazy too. She said it was a failure though. This spell is a telepathic spell that can contact two minds with each other. I unrolled the scrolls and activated the rune circle on it, then surfed with my mind until I found the person I want to talk to. Vangium. Vangium. Just one more minute, boss. This son of he is sleeping this late. Vangium. Whoa. Wow. That was one hell of a nightmare. The boss has left for 2 weeks, and I thought I would laze around, but my conscience is tormenting me to the point I hear the boss's voice. I can hear that idiot's thoughts. That's why Nurina said the spell was a failure. Vangium, this is me, John. I am talking directly to you with magic. Mon. This hallucination of mine became so vivid. To hear the boss's voice this close. What did I drink last night? Sigh. Vangium. Look above your head. Aha! This is the way your soul will take. Look beneath your feet. Aha! This is where your corpse will be under. Boss. It seems you have been lazing a lot lately, Angium Scarmouth. Boss. You are talking from my head. Esmir's beard. I am not going crazy, am I? Vangium. Sure, Mara Kynareth Akatosh de Bella. Vangium. One last warning. Yes, boss. By your orders. By the 9, he is so scary to the point he can enter my head already. Stop thinking, damn it. I want you to do something for me. It looks like we have really made a number on this girls this time. They arrived 6 hours later than us alongside the Firemane main ship. What's up, losers? Hafthor was already picking lines from me. The girls were in a heavy mood. It looks like there are some blood sails ahead. Uncle Vala came down. Yes. We didn't move in alone. Good. Follow my ship and land when I give a signal, Uncle said. We all nodded and did as he said. Uncle Vala's ship sailed and approached the Bloodsail's ship. It a very calm approach, and no one even showed hostility to the other. I started activating my magic to eavesdrop on whatever was being said. Vala Firemane, so it is you this year. What, the old dogs finally died out. Ljot Bloodsail. You, old bones, aren't a drager already? Not before every one of you goatfuckers gets killed by my blade. He heard that one before, and yet you sons of bitches are falling like flies. Heard that your nephew fell in Winterhold 3 weeks ago. What was his name? Steer, right? You little prick. His head was cut by one of your people. Yes. The Thane of Winterhold left him to die slowly, roped to the sail, if I remember. My sister showed mercy to the boy, you know. The Thane, huh? We will kill him first, then come after you. Don't think the Moonblades will be there forever. Their time will come too. Heh heh. Just the talk of a dying dog. Dying. Speaking of which, how are the kids you brought? You think they are ready to face our boys on the island? Your little Firemane clan has a few to no people compared to us? How much did you bring this year? 20? 30? Our clan has sent 200 youngsters this year. The moment your young whelps get on to the island, they will be swallowed. Turn around and come back next year, boy. This is all you have to say? Vigjord, signal the kids to land. Tell them they are going to have some fun. Uncle Vala's tone carried a hint of bloodthirst. I can tell what he wants us to do now. Guys, it seems there is a big party on the island, I said. Big party? Hafthor asked. 200 Bloodsail boys looking for trouble. 200. Hafthor raised his brows and held his chin. 200, you say? It seems the news is true. What news? After you defeated the Blood Horkers, their influence in the sea got shaken. The East Empire Company tried to sack the headquarters of the Blood Horkers, but the Bloodsail clan made sure that never happens, for a high price of course. The East Empire Company and the Bloodsails fought. It was a matter of time anyway. The peace in the northern waters was already too shaky. Once a new player arrived and tilted the advantage against the Blood Horkers, now everyone is trying to eat a piece of the sweet roll. What? The Blood Horkers are on the defense. But wait, that's my sweet roll. Winterhold gave 13 of its sons to reduce the Blood Horkers to that size, and you are telling me cockroaches already want to take the advantage of it. Damn. But the East Empire Company is the biggest cockroach in the sea. They have the Imperial Legion at their back, and the manager of Skyrim's branch is the Emperor's cousin. So, for the Bloodsails to send their youngsters all at once must mean they want to get rid of us, the younger generation of their archenemy, Vladimir said. I agree. Compared to the others' years, the number of the 16 years old representing the main family is the highest. There are 10 of us. Ragnar, who rarely speaks, spoke up this time. I see. To tell the truth, I am not worried about myself. I even dare to reveal my identity to them, as the Thane of Winterhold they all fear too much. What about you guys? John, there is no way we lose to you in valor. Don't take us lightly, Vladimir said in a cool manner. Sorry to doubt you guys. Fine, here comes our signal. The signal? Finally, where is my axe? Hafthor laughed and started preparing. Everyone was already getting ready. the longboats sailed to the east of the Serpent Stone Isle, and we all landed there. Phrygia, the situation is like this. Hafthor told Phrygia, who acts as the leader of the girls' group, the situation. So we are killing these poor souls? Phrygia smiled widely. I can see how much she reassembles Njord when he gets excited. We started moving to the heart of the island as one team after that. We were prepared to go all out once we spot the enemy. Swoosh! I heard the sound of an arrow cutting through the air and heading directly to us. I moved as fast as I could and moved my arm. The arrow that was coming from the afar was caught by me. A surprise attack! Seems these enemies are too cowardly, yet they have a very interesting archer. The arrow was heading directly to Alina. Shields! Hafthor called, and all those who carried shields made a shield wall formation. Senior, thank you. Alina, who was always collected, broke into cold sweat as she realized she was just about to be a goner a second ago. Be careful. Keep your scan spell always on when you enter a hostile territory. Yes, Senior. I now need to see which prick tried to harm my precious junior. They are so dead. The answer came just when we walked forward a bit. We ended up meeting a large number of people. Their number is big. Will the ice wraiths in the island fit for all of us? Wolfer asked. Not if we kill all of them. Jullanar gave an obvious answer. The group ahead of us was indeed over 200 indeed, yet compared to us, some of them looked rather young. We were standing over 30 meters away from them. Ahead of them, I saw a large fellow holding a girl from her arm, as if he caught her doing something wrong. From her looks, she is an archer. Do I assume this is the one target Alina? Jull, kill that girl, I said. Jull gave a nod and readied her lever-action crossbow. The large fellow let go of the girl and walked ahead. Hafthor Firemane, I know you can hear me, he shouted. Moored bloodsail, cheap as ever. Hafthor spoke and walked out with his shield and axe. Don't blame me, you brought Alina Moonblade to us. She is a blood name. A blood name? If I remember, these are the names for the people that the Bloodsails clan want dead no matter what. These names get written on the sails of the Bloodsails ships until they are killed. So Alina got to be a blood name, huh? Alina stepped forward and stood beside Hafthor. She didn't speak. So you came, Alina Moonblade. The news from what you did in Winterhold against our clansmen reached far and wide. I promised on my brother's grave to kill you with that Thane of Winterhold. Moored Bloodsail was speaking like some kind of a manga hero of justice. Oh, spare me the crap. You want to face Senior John Dare? The one who annihilated all the goons you sent at Winterhold single-handedly in few minutes? Alina started showing her senior off. Whose names written with blood on our sails will be killed as long as there are blood sails in the Sea of Ghosts, the guy said with heated emotions. So you are telling me that I became one of the blood names like the Bloody Hilda and the King of Ash? They are my aunt and uncle, you know, Alina said with an amused voice. You murderous whore. You killed my father and you will die by my arrow. The girl behind Moored Bloodsail acted on her own and shot an arrow at Alina. Alina was ready, but I was told to keep an eye on her by nearly everyone I know, so I cast grab one the arrow and stopped it midair. Who dares stop my arrow? The girl shouted. Who dares, huh? I said and walked forward. I am the one whose surname is Dare. John freakin' Dare. Chapter 133 Coming of Age 4 #squad_goals. Who dares stop my arrow? The girl shouted. Who dares, huh? I said and walked forward. I am the one whose surname is Dare. John freakin' Dare. I said my name for everyone to hear as I was stepping forward and took the lead in front of all the other firemen. My name caused a state of silence in the ranks of the Bloodsail people, as I am sure my name is already very known between them. John Dare. Wait, that John Dare? The Thane of Winterhold? The one who led the rebels? What is he doing here? It can't be. Is he a Firemane? Firemane. It is possible. His appearance matches them. He is the Thane of Winterhold. He killed my father. And killed my brother. My cousin was there too. Unforgivable. I was facing the bloodlust of 200 hostile bloodsails. Still, it kind of felt amazing. Half their Firemane. Why is that person standing among you? Mord Bloodsail. None of your bloody business. The tension was reaching its apex between the two parties. We were outnumbered 5-1, but who see this can clearly tell that it is like 5 dogs against 1 bear. I need to hear an explanation. Why is the killer of my brother among you, Firemans? That guy Mord was furious to the limit. I was invited to join the Firemane clan, I said with a smug smile. Join the Firemans? Seems like he was not convinced yet. Exactly, join the Firemans. They knew I hunt bloodsails for fun every weekend, so I got an invitation. Neat, right? Then never think you will walk out of this island alive? He said as he raised his axe to my face. Sigh. I am very certain that no matter how many there are of you, I can take you down the same way I did to your parents, brothers, cousins, or whoever I killed that day. You fuckers are nothing but cutthroats, pirate scum, and filthy bandits. Your way of life is based on causing harm and suffering to the innocents by leeching on them till they run dry. In my eyes, killing you fuckers is the right thing to do. In my eyes, killing you is a way to save a lot of people who are going to suffer at your hands. You know, it is the same way people deal with skeevers and insects. See your worth? I understand that you all have that fake ego that somehow convinced you that you are a human being, and it is the very damn thing that makes you detest my words. But I assure you, as long as killing you contributes to the greater good of the people living around these parts, you will be regarded as a fertilizer to the new word that will be built on the ashes of your tyranny. That was some speech I kept working on since the moment I heard I am going to meet bloodsail people on the island. I finally got to say it the coolest way possible. Savage, Jull said in a low tone. Haha. Hear him, boys. That's how you should speak. Phrygia looked at our people and said. My haughty speech made the Firemans get into the mindset of the exterminator, not the fighter. Is that so? Mord Bloodsail looked at me with fire burning in his eyes. His fury was beyond reason now. The Bloodsail main family people stepped forward. They all have similar features, so I could tell who they are. In response, the Fireman's main family people stepped forward beside me. They were around 30 and we were 10. Thane of Winterhold, duel me if you dare. I thought you'd nev. John, don't fall in that trap. They always request duels, but they will shoot you the moment they see that you are winning the duel. Bjorna said. Oh, is that so? Well, I guess they are pirates after all. Shut up, you redhead bitch. Come and pay the blood price, John Dare. Mord Bloodsail insulted Bjorna and shouted at me. I was about to step forward, but someone stood ahead of me. Old Wolf, I have a date with Mr. Grim Reaper over there. Don't get sentimental on me already, I said jokingly to Wolfer, who was ahead of me. I will fight him, give me that, he said with a solemn face and extended his hand to my side. He then took the Skyforge saber I was carrying and turned around. I was confused for a second, but I soon realized it. This Mord dead guy has insulted Bjorna. Wolfer's character is overprotective to the extreme. One of the reasons why Sviti couldn't learn how to fight or cast magic at all. Still, Wolfer's mood is very grim. He will do something extreme. I winked to Jull and she nodded. She knows what she has to do. Wolfer. Bjorna, who was 2 meters to my left, stood and sighed with worried expressions on her face. Young love. How so cute. Wolfer walked ahead towards Mord Bloodsail. He was having some dangerous thoughts on how to dismantle him alive for sure. Who are you? Name is Wulfr. You are not a Firemane. None of your business. John Dare. Are you that afraid? Sending your lackey here won't save you. Shut up. John can kill the likes of you with a mere thought if he wanted. You are not even worth him replying at you. Arrogant fool. Know your place. Anyway, I have something good for you. John killed your brother. Well, I am his brother. Wulfr's words were said in his calm, deep voice that made it have a bit of provocative hint to it. His brother, you say? All right, John Dare, I'll kill your brother. Then I'll come for your head after him. Mord rushed with his axe at Wulfr, who was standing still unfazed. A right swing up-down, Wulfr avoid. A horizontal left-right, Wulfr avoid. Body charge, Wulfr raised the saber and stabbed. Mord used his charge and jumped with downward power slash. Wulfr charged in high speed at Mord, who was jumping midair, and slashed at his leg. First cut. It was not shallow. Wulfr only cut the flesh without using much force. Mord landed while being staggered. Wulfr took the chance and attacked. Mord deflected it with the back of his axe and tried to counterattack. Wulfr, who was about to get his attack blocked, shook his hand and the blade changed its trajectory. Second cut. Another flesh cut to the arm. No effort was put in. They clashed again, and each time, Wulfr only would deal a simple cut. Third, fourth, fifth, 20th. I lost the track of how many cuts by now. Mord was making a face full of agony. He was being cut alive, yet he barely bled. Wulfr avoided all the vitals and the blood vessels so far. Seems like insulting Bjorna is an unforgivable sin, that its punishment is the death with 100 cuts in the codex of Wulfr. At this point, it turned from a fight to a torture. Wulfr was toying around with Mord left and right. Flesh was being chopped and blood dyed the snow everywhere. Where did he learn that bad habit from? This has reminded me of the Chinese lingqi, a way of execution that meant the death by 1,000 cut. Still, the way Wulfr did it was in combat and not really reached 1,000 cut. This guy. He is angry. Anyway, after venting his anger, Wulfr slashed the sword with vigor, chopping off Mord's arm that carried the axe. Gah! Mord! Shoot now! 3 arrows were shot from 3 bloodsail archers and targeted Wulfr with high speed. Wulfr's reaction was fast. He pulled Mord and used him as a shield. Still, that would only block 1 arrow. I evoked grab on both hands and stopped the 2 swords midair. The third hit Mord's back. No! Despicable! The bloodsails shouted in hate. The amount of hypocrisy in the bloodsails is terrifying. Maybe it's their bloodline ability. That was not the time to make funny ideas anyway. Someone retaliated at the 3 arrows just now, and that was Jull. She used her lever-action crossbow and shot 3 bolts in 1 second. 3 bolts, 3 hits. The 3 archers, including the girl that shot at Alina, fell down dead. The bolts were perfectly in the center of their foreheads. Dom! I was taken aback. I guess this is where it ends. Wulfr said to the dying Mord, then used the saber to cut his head. A dreadful silence came from the bloodsail side. It seems that the scene already was too shocking for them to accept. Wulfr was standing on the front alone, so I walked up and stood beside him. He passed the sword back to me. I sheathed the sword silently and took out my hammer. Wulfr also took out his hammer. Jull reloaded 1 more bolt and walked beside me. Alina followed her. Foo-foo. I guess I can call that #squad_goals. I am also grateful to you guys to make me stand in the center like that. Well then, gentlemen and ladies, we have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and there is a lot of bubblegum in front of me. I say we. At-a-ack. Okay. My cool line got interrupted by Vilker. We'll have to talk about this later. It's murder time now. Chapter 134, Coming of Age 5. Attack! Vilker ran forward, and we followed him to prevent the idiot from killing himself. Sovngarde! In the brink of the clash, I shouted a battle cry. The charge of ours, that was about to be blocked with the shields of the Bloodsails, got empowered, and we were unstoppable at the moment. Our morale, that was already so high, pierced the clouds, and we were like an unstoppable tsunami. The line of defense of the Bloodsails crumbled before we even clash into them. We could easily jump over them and fight the heart of the enemy forces directly. With no much defense, they fell back. I waved my hammer with one hand and rotated around myself, sinking deep into the Bloodsail force. My hammer hit 3 heads in succession, and they got broken with brain matter all over the place. My left hand called a flame spell, and I made fire dance around me. I started killing like a demon. My mindset was dyed with bloodlust, and I wanted to let it all out. That time, my aura broke loose, and I released a green hue around me. Screams, wails, attacks from each side. My aura is nothing normal kids can resist anymore. The more I kill, the tenser it got. I was triggered by the blood around me, and my head started boiling. The only thing I can do right now is to unleash myself to the limit. I wasn't using magic now. I just wanted to make them explode with my punches and weapons. Run! A monster! A Bloodsail kid screamed when my hammer sank into the head of the one beside him. The same word that was said by those pathetic pirates when they pissed themselves dying. The Bloodsails around me started running, but Alina was already covering a side with 4 large frost atronachs. The Bloodsails were forced to retreat in a different direction than taking a straight way to their ship. Those who could slip by were taken down by Jull. I stood there for a while and regrouped with the rest while the other 30 were pushing Bloodsails back. That was so scary, cousin. You made us almost lose our minds with that battle cry you shouted. Hafthor was excited. And I thought the crazy one was Vilker, Vladimir said. I didn't reply because I was using scan. Guys, the way they are retreating to ends with a cliff. I could see that they still haven't reached the cliff yet. What do you want to do? Ragnar asked. We push them from the cliff. The Bloodsails ship will be having a grand view when we send their demon spawns into oblivion. I looked at the 9 around me and they all nodded. Good. We returned to the fight that turned into a chase and pushed hard on any Bloodsail that tried to retaliate. They finally realized that they were driven to a cliff. They have lost almost half of their number, but most of the main family of the Bloodsails survived the clash. Shield wall. A Bloodsail gave a command. Signal the ship. Another one asked. Don't give them a chance. Push forward. Hafthor didn't want to miss the chance and rallied us forward. The Bloodsails were being pushed one by one, step by step, that who didn't want to get pushed got killed. They tried to bitterly resist, some have started crying and weeping. Alina was casting fear illusions on the rear of the Bloodsails force to make them lose their footing. The cliff was only a 10 meters tall cliff, and under it was the sea. Normally, one can survive that, but that if there were no rocks. And there were a lot of rocks. Once the heat of the last confrontation reached its apex, the sound of splash sounded. This was the first person to fall in the sea. Their faces became pale as they realized there is no more space to retreat. This feeling is enough to cause them to fight like cornered beasts. I can't afford them to be like that though. My clansmen will be in danger. I took a central position in the formation of the Firemane and traded blows with the shield bearers of the Bloodsails until I finally found my chance. Fuss Aroda! I shouted at the Bloodsails who were on the cliff's edge. I could feel the time stopping for a second when my shout formed a force wave towards the Bloodsails and pushed them over the cliff. They were flying in a very hilarious way. My lips curled up as I could see them fall one after the other in the sea. There were few left on the sides, but they were killed before even being pushed at that rate. No problem to me. Are we done? I asked. Yes. No one left. Alina confirmed. I looked at the cliff and some were alive. Jullanar started hunting them down on her own. Any casualties? Hafthor started looking around. 2 girls had injuries, 4 boys lost fingers, the rest got some scratches. Alina is dealing with the healing. Phrygia said. Good. What about the ice wraiths? The bloodsails hunted them all. It takes time for new ones to appear, but we managed to find some ice wraith essence, flasks in some dead bodies. Sigh. How will the elders deal with that? I asked. This year's hunt got wasted. We will be given ones prepared by the clan then. Vladimir said. Still, this situation. Did we have to kill all of them? Bjorna asked. They would have done the same, I said. This cheap move from the bloodsails is a declaration of war. They wanted to crush the morals of the clan by killing us here. It would have become what they thought if these 4 monsters didn't come to aid us. Hafthor said. By the 4 monsters, he meant me, Alina, Jullanar, and Wulfur. It is true. The power of a Firemane individual is actually very high, as our blood is that of giants, but the number of the bloodsails was already big. If us 4 were not here then, it would have ended in a very tough situation. Still, the bloodsails wouldn't dare to act like that unless they have some underhanded method prepared to deal with the aftermath, I said. As I said that, everyone fell silent. They realized it. John, how far can your detection reach? Vladimir asked. What do you want me to do? Uncle Vala's ship, can you check it? He said. I nodded and turned to look at the ship. I used Farsight's spell and could see what is going on. It seems Vladimir's worry was correct. Uncle Vala's ship was just beside the bloodsails' main ship. They all must have seen everything. And now a fight erupted and the 2 ships were not moving. This is not the problem. The problem is the 3 ships that appeared from the north. This is a dangerous situation. Vladimir, a fight on the ships, 3 ships are joining. Damn it, we need to help. Hafthor said. We all agreed and started moving to the ships. This bloodsails must have their blood boiling after what we have done here. I took out a telepathy scroll and hesitated a bit, but I used it in the end. My mind surfed until I could contact Uncle Vala. 3 ships to the north. 3 ships to the north. I know if I talk to him like that he might get distracted as he is fighting right now, so I tried to convey my thoughts to him this way. He will surely look to the north once he gets my ideas. I took another scroll and used it instantly. Vangium. Boss. I am not far. Is it ready? Yes, boss. Which direction should I take? North to the Serpent Stone Isle. I will meet you there. Confirmed. That was another thing off my mind. Now everything is ready to work out well. All the boys and girls took 1 longboat and started getting ready to set sail. I hesitated for a bit and stood there. John. Let's go. Alina called for me. You guys go. I have a plan on my own, I said as I ran to the other longboat. They all looked at me as I jumped on the longboat we boys arrived in and took out my conjuration staff. A naughty idea came to my head. I started the conjuration and void started to distort around me. Creatures from others' dimensions appeared on the deck of the longboat. They Firemans has already started sail as they trusted I will do something on my own. Now I was surrounded by a band of undead. What's up, guys? Have you ever sailed a ship before? Chapter 135, Coming of Age 6. On a longboat that belongs to the clan, I was standing there surrounded by a band of undead. What's up, guys? Have you ever sailed a ship before? Silence. Complete silence. Well, at least nod or shake your head. They all shook their heads. That wasn't a response, it was me telling them to do it. Anyway, time to get serious. Let's see. I have 30 Wraithmen heavy infantry with their heavy weapons and armors. Good, sheath them for now and center yourselves on the ropes. Your strengths will be needed as sailors. The 70 bone men archers, I prefer if you guys spread around the deck and get ready. Good, spread the sail. I started captaining around the undead until everything was good to go. I was excited to get to sail by undead for the first time. Well, as long as I know how to sail a longboat myself, then it is fine. Even though filling the ship with 100 undead made it feel scary, but it was still cool. As the sail was spread, the longboat started catching a good amount of wind and ran at high speed. Ha! Damn! I was the only living being on the longboat, and it was a fantastic feeling to move a vessel like that alone. That is why many mages saw value in the necromancy as a magic that can give an access to a big number of minions with a lot of uses. Anyway, the longboat was moving and I was the one steering it. My aim was the 3 ships coming to aid the Bloodsail main ship. These 3 were longboats as large as mine, but they can't carry that much men. Undead were lighter than humans, so from only one look, I can tell that these 3 longboats only has 30 men each. Hey John, what are you doing? A voice came from ahead. I looked up and saw Joel and Alina riding a flame Atronach hawk. I didn't teach them I gave Jullanar a scroll. I am taking down the longboats before they all reach the ships. Once I said that, both looked at each other and nodded, then they jumped down from the flame Atronach hawk together. Senior, that's too reckless. They longboats definitely have strong aura masters on them. I agree with her, Joel said. I see, fine, I will not clash directly with them. I have a lot of archers here, by the way. Then I will assist you with the wind, Alina said. Thank you. Alina found a spot behind the sail and made a not violent yet strong wind push the sail. Joel looked at Alina and smiled. She then looked at me and moved her eyes to Alina. I understood what she meant and also smiled. Jullanar came closer and spoke to me. What do you think? She said. What do I think? Not bad. What is more interesting is what do you think? Hee. Jullanar laughed and nodded. It seems she is getting along very well with Alina. For a moment there, I thought Joel may have murderous intentions towards Alina, but she seemed fine. Still, I need to take care of the situation first. The longboats were sailing directly to the north, and the 3 ships were rowing to reach the big ships in a hurry. They also were disregarding my longboat for a reason. Well, with Alina around, I don't need to worry about speed at all. I was resting for a while after conjuring this number of undead, and my magicka was somewhat not really fully back yet, but I chugged on a potion and starting absorbing magicka from nature rapidly. Once we got near the first longboat, I looked at Joel, who nodded, and we threw the hawks at the other ship. If we can entangle it, then it is fine. The Bloodsails didn't think that the small longboat would be this daring, and looked at us to open their faces in disbelief from what they saw. Of course it is new around here to sail ships with that number of undead, as it would seem. Shoot. I commanded the bone men to shoot their arrows. A volley of arrows was launched from my longboat and descended on the Bloodsails with the sound of cutting the air. The scene turned bloody. 70 arrows descended on 30 warriors. The chances of survival are slim. It nearly killed half of the enemies on the other ship. The surprise attack strategy works very well in this kind of situation. Bone men, keep shooting. Wraithmen, pull these ropes. Right now, I am taking over the other ship. I looked at the people who could survive the first attack, and they seemed like capable warriors. Some of them started shooting magic too. Alina, Jullanar, and I retaliated back and battled the enemy mages. Or rather, it was one-sided. Alina's wind magic is the nemesis to most destruction spells, Joel is a sharpshooter, which is the natural enemy to mages, and I am a multitasking psychopath with dragon blood. Let's just say that only the longboat's captain was a strong opponent. I teleported on his boat to battle him one-on-one. Who are you? He asked. John Dare, Thane of Winterhold. I know you, the one who killed Styr. And more. He raised his sword at me and spoke. I, Gudrun Bloodsail, will avenge all the members of our family that you killed, Thane of Winterhold. Allow me to take your head to the Patriarch. Ha ha. You asked me nicely. How can I refuse now? I drew my saber and faced him. He didn't waste any time and slashed at me from above. I took the slash head-on and stopped it, then used my free hand to punch at his stomach. He was fast and moved his free hand and slapped my punch away. I used the momentum from my punch and pushed more with my body, then struck him with my elbow. It landed and he moved back. This man was not simple. He is a strong warrior. We looked at each other in the eye and clashed once again. His swordsmanship was fast and deadly. Every clash with him was like a test. I wasn't using any magic just yet, as it would be sad to blast away a strong expert like that and not taking some of his experience in one last battle. John Dare. Now that I look at you, I see a man I once fought and survived his fury. Tell me the truth, are you the son of the King of Ash? This is bad. I now need to take no chance. How did you know? I asked. So you are the cursed child. This changes a lot of things. Indeed. I agreed with him, and commanded the Wraithman to come from my ship to here. Now tell me, how did you find out? You look exactly like him, and I look like him? Well, even though it is vexing, I guess you are right. He looked at me and held his blade firmly. But I can't let you go after this anymore. Here I come. I slashed with my saber and attacked him. He unleashed his aura and came at me with all of his power. I also did the same and released my maddening aura and used Energize. Once we clashed, he pushed me back with all the weight of his body. It is true. You will grow up to be a monster son of two monsters. Ha ha. 3 You damn fool. Nurina is also a monster. I was being pushed back in the first exchange, and managed to reverse the situation in the next. We were even after all that time. I sensed a strange power growing in the man while fighting him. He wasn't getting tired for some reason. Senior, don't prolong the fight with him. He is using the Bloodsail's bloodline ability. Alina shouted. So that's what it is. He clearly started pushing me back. His power is strange. It is like he could ignore all the damage he took, then become stronger and faster. I guess that's it then. He was slashing at me with anger in his eyes, and that's what I was waiting for, an opening. This was the time to use my deadly close combat trump card, the Thunder Cookie. I punched at his unguarded area to the side of his ribs. Thunder booming sounded and Gudrun Bloodsail flew to the side. I wasn't taking any chances anymore and jumped on him to finish this once and for all. He showed some resistance, but his aura was dimming due to exhaustion. It was the final struggle he put before I behead him. His head rolled on the ground. I could finally take a breath. I looked around and saw that my Wraithman war band has taken care of the rest of the Bloodsail troops already. It wasn't a bad victory. At least I managed to take down a whole longboat with its crew down and lessen the burden on the main ship. Senior! Alina shouted and pointed somewhere. I followed what she pointed at and my face crumbled. I was planning on taking out one longboat. Why are the other two coming to this direction? John, your orders? Joel asked. Orders my ass. Abandon ship, I said as I conjured 2 flame Atronach hawks. Chapter 136, Coming of Age 7. Roaring Flames. It wasn't a bad victory. At least I managed to take down a whole longboat with its crew down and lessen the burden on the main ship. Senior! Alina shouted and pointed somewhere. I followed what she pointed at and my face crumbled. I was planning on taking out one longboat. Why are the other 2 coming to this direction? John, your orders? Joel asked. Orders my ass. Abandon ship, I said as I conjured 2 flame Atronach hawks. Alina and Jullanar jumped on the one close to them, and I jumped on mine. The idea of escaping was not that appealing, especially when two beauties are around, but I wasn't really in the mood to fight more than that. I was tired. Senior, shall we join them on the other longboat? Where is it? There. Alina pointed at another direction. The longboat where Hafthor and the rest were was engaging in a fight with a new bloodsail longboat that popped out of nowhere. Their situation was not bad. How many of the blood sails in this area? I asked and rose higher in the sky. I wanted to have a better look. Japhet's Folly Isle is not far from here. It is the main base of the Blood Horkers, and the blood sails must have prepared a big force there. Alina seemed very knowledgeable about the situation of hidden clans. Asking her to take part in the establishing of the Dare Dragon group was indeed a good idea. Anyway, I started counting the longboats that entered the fight now. They were a total of 7. The bloodsails sure have invested a lot to take us down, and by this rate, the main ship and Hafthor's longboat will be in danger. I have used a lot of magicka, and to use a trick like turning the flame Atronach hawks into the meteor spell, it needs a lot of preparation. Luckily, there was still a solution. We are not participating now. Let's regain our strength first and join them later, I said. But by that rate, they would be surrounded by enemies from every direction. Jullanar was worried. It won't pose a threat now. The Firemanes faced worse situations before. Alina said. I also noticed that they are handling the situation very well. The teamwork of the Firemanes is the best I have seen so far. They really understand coordination and tactics really well. I at least managed to get rid of one longboat and lessen their burden by drawing another 2 away. Now, the bloodsails will have to deal with the strong force in the main ship and Hafthor's fast longboat that is raging around. Still, the thing I am waiting for is not here ye. Bubu. A horn blowing echoed around the sea. Its enchantment made the sound reach far and wide. They are here. I couldn't hide my excitement anymore. Alina and Jullanar looked at the source of the sound, opened their eyes wide. I didn't tell anyone that this will be here. John, did you call Ongium? Jullanar didn't see that one coming. I laughed and nodded. The flagship of the Dare Dragon Company. The new improvements, are they finished? Alina was keeping up with the details as a member of the Creation Club. And yes, that is my gunship. Yes, Yisra has been working on them for days, I said. I commanded the flame Atronach hawks to fly to the ship. As I approached, the sailors became nervous, but Ongium was there waving for us to land. We landed on the back of the ship and got surrounded by a lot of people. Ongium, Yisra, Marin, Morbagog, and Eliel. It's good to see you guys. Boss, what do you think of the new weapons? Ongium was all smiles and started pointing left and right. What are you so proud of? President, there is a major problem. Yisra said. The power source is too hard to deal with. Just for the firing test, we used 2 fully grand soul gems. I don't know how rich you are, but I don't use all those resources. Indeed. To get rid of these ships, we at least need 5 grand soul gems. Ongium said. How much did you bring? I asked. We have 8. This will indeed be a problem. According to my calculations, each grand soul gem contains 3,000 MP. 3 times the MP I myself has. President, how is the new power source project you promised us with? Eliel asked. No progress, I am sorry. But after I get done with what I have in hand, I'll get to Windhelm and try to finish up with it, I said. Now everyone, get ready for battle. As soon as I said that, everyone became serious. This is the first time for us to try this ship in battle. The ship has its usual 2 firing platforms on that used to fire fireballs in the past. Now, and after I paid Yisra a chunk of money, these babies shoot fire missiles. Yisra worked on that spell to make it as fast as the fire bolt and as destructive as an overcharged fireball. Turned out really well as a long-ranged weapon. The new improvement we added were the magical flame throwers. Something out of a fantasy, if I say so myself. 4 of them were built to shoot the nasty spreading version of the good old flames spell. This is the close-range weapon, if the ship that got placed as 2 on each side. There was one more weapon, but it wasn't ready yet, and it is something that will be hard to produce anyway. Now, for the blood-boiling moment. Ongium, did you bring the thing? Yes, boss. Ha ha ha, I am excited. He was shaking from excitement, and truthfully, me too. I nodded to him, and he waved to the sailor on the crow nest, the highest point of the ship. The sailor took a knife between his teeth and climbed the sail. Once he reached the flag's place, he took the knife and cut a rope, then came down. A second later, the ship's flag got spread and fluttered with the wind. I couldn't hide my grin. This looks great, Alina said. Jullanar was looking at the flag with a bright smile too. This flag is our flag after all, the Dragon Dare flag. The black flag with a red dragon skull on a red crescent. https://ibb.co/HMS9YA. It's not perfect yet because I have never used PS before, too many options. This is officially the first time our flag goes to battle. I hope it brings us victory. Boss, we haven't named the ship yet. This will be its second battle. Ongium said. It's indeed a major issue. Unnamed ships bring bad luck. I started brainstorming it with the people around until we arrived at a name. The ship was called the Roaring Flames. While she was advancing halfway through the area, the Roaring Flames was spotted by all the ships and the longboats in the area. We stood on the rear deck and observed how things work out. Ongium, the horn one more time. Yes, boss. The horn. Bobo. It was a thundering sound akin to the roar of an ancient beast. Those with weak hearts will fall to their knees from hearing. Enemy spotted, Captain. Let it get closer. The 2 longboats that tried to corner me a while ago seemed to have finished up the undead I left behind, and were having some funny thoughts like getting into the Roaring Flames. The ship slightly turned to the right and continued sailing, but the 2 longboats moved after her. It was now that we made our move. Fire! The cannons on the firing platform made a sound of casting a big spell, then 2 missiles of flame got shot towards the first ship. Boom! In a second, they landed on one ship and a grand explosion appeared. Impressive! I was astonished from what we created. Every sailor was looking at the result of the cannons with wide eyes. After the flames cleared out, only a few signs of the longboat were seen. Burning pieces of wood here and there and some corpses. Once again, I shouted to wake the men up from their disbelieving moment. The sailors started running back to their positions and the cannons were aimed at the next longboat. Fire! Another 2 rounds got fired at the longboat. The longboat recognized the danger it was in as it has seen the previous one gets blown up to oblivion. The fire missiles didn't land perfectly due to the maneuver that longboat made this time. A fire missile landed on the rear tip of the longboat and the other one missed it by a few meters. The damage was not bad as the rear half of the longboat was blown away and the front only remained with few survivors hanging to life with threads. The Roaring Flames turned and approached the broken-down ship. Once we were just beside it, the magical flame-throwers opened fire, and 2 dragon breath-like streams of flame hailed down, burning everything to nothingness. The result was even more brutal this time. No trace was left. The world felt so silent after 2 longboats were taken down that fast. I am sure the other longboats have seen it all by now. Good job, men. Catch wind and sail to the northwest. This is not over yet. My words were absolute on this ship. Everything was happening as long as I say the word. Now, 3 down, 6 more to go. Chapter 137, Coming of Age, 8. End of the battle. The world fell in silence after 2 longboats were taken down that fast. I am sure the other longboats have seen it all by now. Good job, men. Catch wind and sail to the northwest. This is not over yet. My words were absolute on this ship. Everything was happening as long as I say the word. The ship turned and sailed again. It was fast, durable, and resisted fire and magic, all thanks to the many enchantments that got applied on the hull. This ship is the war machine I am proud of the most, and it is not even complete yet. The more it sailed, the more we felt our blood boiling. Everything was screaming to let it all loose and dye the sea with fire. Our only retraction was the magicka cost. As our blood turned hot from anticipation, the enemy's blood turned cold from fear. We saw the roaring flames as the ship of freedom, they saw it as the harbinger of destruction. Every fiber of our being craved victory, every fiber of their being sought a way out. The dominance we felt was indescribable, the fear they felt was unimaginable. After long years of slavery to the bloodsails, the sons and daughters of Winterhold retaliated. The horn! The war drums! I shouted at the fighters on my ship, and they remembered the installments we made. Boo-boo! Dum 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 dum! The roaring flames wasn't as equipped as I planned yet, but it is an overpowered being in the sea. Few can compete with its might. After the horn got blown and the sound of the drums echoed, the pale faces of the bloodsails changed from paleness to complete madness and started running around their longboats to turn them away. The roaring flame was a big galleon, but it still had the advantage in speed. In just a few seconds we already had some of them locked on. The front turret. Fire 2 shots at the same time. Each one of the 2 turrets has 2 cannons, so it can be fired that way too. We are just on the power-saving tactic right now. Just as the front turret shot its fire missiles, the sailors on the longboat jumped from it to the sea. Smart move. If you planned how to survive though. The next longboat got fired at and the result was the same. The third longboat managed to hide behind a large rock coming out from the sea, but it crumbled after it got hit and fell on the longboat. 6 down. Rush ahead to aid that longboat. I pointed at Hafthor's longboat that was engaged in a deadly clash with another longboat. Hold fire. Our allies are still there. The roaring flame sandwiched the bloodsails longboat with Hafthor's longboat. Despite us having the high ground, we couldn't shoot down at the bloodsails ship because our allies were on both sides. Still, no problem. It's time for you to shine, guys. The ones I talk to are the Dare Dragon Guards, the small private army I created. On the ship, there are 40 on standby. Now, they unsheathed their sabers and ready to roll. I am expecting good result. Get them, boys. On my mark, the men took the ropes and jumped down to the bloodsails longboat. The killing started and the bloodsails got wiped out. I then came down with Alina and John. Vladimir, who was holding a staff and a sword, came to me smiling. That was an easy fight, I said. Indeed. Listen, Alina. Veka and Hafthor got injured. Right away, Alina said and went to look for them. What happened? I asked. An aura master. We ganged up on him to take him down. Wolfer came over and said. I met one too. It seems that every longboat has at least an aura master leading it, Phrygia said. That also means that we confirmed 4 aura masters dead, 3 of them by John's hand, Jull said. Indeed, we haven't checked the survivors of the other 3 longboats we chased after. Ongium came down from the ship and joined. That is a fatal blow to the bloodsails, Ragnar said. Indeed it is. Today alone we killed more than 300 bloodsails. Their vitality is already injured too much. Not to mention that the younger generation that tried to ambush us on the island didn't expect to face such a crushing defeat. If my assumption is correct, then the bloodsails took the best of their younger generation from various ages from 15 to 18 and added a lot of the younger generation of their associated families to kill us. A stupid move. In a world of sword and magic, number advantage is something idiotic. Only quality prevails. John, what is that dragon ship? Vladimir asked while looking at the roaring flame with lust in his eyes. Even Phrygia was looking at her with a lot of emotions. For the calmest firemans to be like that. The firemans are indeed flame-loving arsonists through and through. This is the Roaring Flame, the flagship of the Dare Dragon Company. The pride of our industrial department. Ongium said. Amazing! John, how does it make fire? Vilker popped out of nowhere. I shook my head. This is a strategic secret that belongs to the company after all. Now is not the time to play. We need to get to the uncle's ship as soon as possible. Hafthor, who seemed to have got healed, came and joined in. I agree, I said as I signaled the sailors of the Roaring Flame to get us some rope ladder. No, we will take our longboat and try to trap the Bloodsail's main ship with you. Good idea, I said as I took one of the ropes and climbed back to the ship. We started preparing for the final assault. The Bloodsails have only one main ship and two longboat. And now that I look at it, the longboats has already started to sail north. They are running away like that. Cowards! I was just going to burn them to a crisp, nothing dangerous about it. Anyway, we got prepared and sailed again with Hafthor's longboat. Halfway through the way to the Uncle Vala's ship, the Bloodsail's ship started moving forcefully and its sailors started cutting all the ropes from the uncle's ship. They were doing it at the cost of their lives, as it seemed. The Roaring Flame caused all that panic. After all, it is akin to a dragon in the sea. Fools! We wouldn't have shot at them if they remained beside the Firemane ship. Ongium remarked. Fear can cause them to be that stupid. It is not something they can control. Their minds are shouting at them to get the hell out of here. Jullanar said. It seems that my lessons of philosophy are showing their effect with her. Will we give a chase? I am not sure I want to. Just shoot at them when the move and make it count, I said. The Bloodsail main ship is large and the fire missiles won't take it down with 2 hits. I am also more concerned about the situation of the Uncle Vala. He was fighting since the start after all. As we approached the Firemane ship, uneasiness spread through the exhausted crew when they saw the scary ship with the unfamiliar flag come closer. Until the moment we stopped beside them and showed no hostility, they started to ease up a bit. The ramp was extended from ours to theirs without permission, but the first person who walked on it was Alina. Once the sailors saw Alina, well, let's just say she is so damn popular, even more than me, and more than Hafthor and Phrygia themselves. Sigh. I knew this would happen anyway. The veiled girl Alina is not a princess in 2 hidden clans for nothing. Even so, no one saw her face. She is undoubtedly a beautiful maiden that may ruin a nation. The Roaring Flame now was considered something that related to Alina in the eyes of the sailors now, and whoever came after Alina would be greeted as a brother in Alina's hardcore fan club. TCH. How vexing! I was clearly dissatisfied. I walked right after Alina, who introduced me as John Dare, a new member of the clan and the owner of the Dare Dragon Company, the new ally to the Firemane clan blah blah blah. Uncle Vala seemed to be fine, but he seems to have lost a friend in the fight, so he was clearly depressed. The casualties on the main ship were a lot, as it seemed. We were prepared, but they tried to screw us hard this time. Even though they suffered a great loss that may affect their vitality for years, we also would have suffered a big loss if not for our allies of the Dare Dragon Company and their leader, the new son of our clan, John Dare. Uncle Vala said some good words about me. He also started to show off the bravery of the juniors from the clan and how they ran into the heat of the battle despite being outnumbered. Anyway, I took Ongium and Alile to the side and started hammering them with a series of orders as to executives of my company now. I had a lot of plans on how to deal with the Bloodsails and the Bloodhorkers. I was actually a bit impatient now to get done with the Firemane's coming-of-age ceremony and put some power into research and developing the company. There are also some treasures and Daedric artifacts I need to acquire. By the time we finished licking our wounds, the Roaring Flame turned around and left, and we headed back to the clan. Chapter 138 Senior? Who is Senior? So it was like that, Grandpa said with a grim face. The bastards! Aunt Scotty was infuriated. The mood was so heavy in the main hall in the keep. The family's heads and adults, as well as us 10 participants of the clan, were all present. Father, if it wasn't for young John, the matter would have taken a worse turn. Uncle Vala said. Yes, it is true. Hafthor spoke up. Everyone looked at me with strong emotion in their eyes. I hate being the center of attention in embarrassing moments like this. Jonhild, you have done the clan a great favor, more than you can ever imagine. I don't know how to thank you or to reward you with, grandson. Grandpa stood from his seat and came to me. He grabbed my shoulders and shook. Ahem. No need to mention it, I wouldn't have done it without everyone's help anyway. We are family after all, there are no favors between us. Grandpa laughed and nodded. He then gave me few pats on the shoulder. If it was me from half a year ago, I would have seen my HP bar reach a critical state. Son, you have done well. Jonrad was also there with Hilda, the stood right next to me. I nodded with a smile. Alina, Grandpa called. Your valor was proven in the battle too. I wouldn't have thought that you little thing would be this scary. Grandpa, don't say that. Alina seemed to be getting along really well with Grandpa Terman. Hafthor, you fended your brothers and sisters the most. Heimdall has brought you up well. No need to mention it, old man. Just give me some of the mead kegs that you hide from Aunt Hilda. Hafthor is always true to his desires. Sigh. Wulfr and Jullanar, you two have our thanks, and you are hereby treated as family members from now on. Thank you. Jullanar said with respect, and Wulfr was delighted. I winked for him and he nodded. Grandpa kept going around the youngsters saying congratulations and thanks for our participation in battle. As the last announcement, the Dare Dragon Company is a valuable ally to us from now on. We will help them build their ships and aid them in the time of their need. I also personally thank what was it again? I thank Chief Executive Officer John Dare for his aid and for rebuilding the old town of Winterhold once again. This will be announced to tell the world that John Dare is a new honorary member in the clan and to make his company an ally to our allies. Grandpa said, and Aunt Scotty was recording behind him. This was for the sake of keeping my identity as Jonhild Firemane away from my identity as John Dare. Now as it was all said and done, you young ones go and rest. The day after tomorrow, you all will be gathered in the courtyard to face the final challenge. As for Wulfr and Jullanar, you are considered adults as long as there are no more challenges in your family's heritage. Grandma said. Wulfr and Jullanar nodded. This marked the end of the day and I followed the lovebirds, Jonrad and Hilda, home. We arrived later and found Nurina, who was sitting there reading a book while stroking Nefertiti. Jull, you will find dinner under the net over there. Heat it beside the fireplace. Hilda said as we went in. It seemed to me like you will find dinner in the fridge, go heat it by the microwave, but I resisted the urge to laugh. Yes, Ma. I went to take care of my empty stomach and Jullanar followed me for the same purpose. Hilda laughed and went to see her business, Jonrad went out to drink with Tyr, and Nefertiti joined me for some cuddles while acting all cute. I felt really good eating this cold dinner in this house. I started remembering some memories of my past life, when my family used to live that normal life. The only thing that was missing was the sound of my parents fighting over the drama and the soccer game. I unintentionally giggled and shook my head. Is this what they call normal life? I wondered out loud. Boring, right? Nurina replied without looking. What kind of a life can be normal when we go to a battle in the morning and eat dinner at home in the evening anyway? Jullanar wondered. I guess she is right. I finished eating and started playing with Nefertiti. I was being healed by her fluff. I killed a lot of people today, I think I need a bath. When I asked Hilda, she told me about some water springs near the fire garden where the area is warm as the water gets heated just by passing beside the garden. Sigh. They have a free water heating system too. Just like the one in my bathhouse. Well, let's get done with it. The place was a bit dark, but it was just what I needed. I could even get a faint sense for the energy from the fire garden here. Anyway, it was bath time. The small spring was surrounded by some lush greenery that could adapt to the warmth of the area. It also added some privacy to the place. I was sitting there submerging myself in the beautiful sensation of the warm water, and my head started thinking left and right. Nefertiti was playing in the water and practicing swimming. The place was quiet, and I was confirming the music list that the system managed to extract from my memories. I didn't know I heard all these songs in my past life. The most annoying ones were the unknown song, that normally were songs I heard somewhere without knowing anything about. I just put all of Mozart's music clips in a folder, and was about to cast Magisterio, the enhanced version of MageSpeaker, but I felt a presence around me. I looked to where it was coming from, and I saw someone looking at me. It was like, this is bad. Who in the world is that? My head functioned really slowly for a second there. A second. Maybe a bit more than a second. The other party was too, frozen in place. My oh my! I couldn't help but wonder, and what a wonder! Meine meisten 16er soll dan single necessitami tu. I said something strange, but the other party seemed to not understand a word I said. The other party seemed not to have thought someone would be here, and came unprepared. Senior? Huh. Senior? Who is that, I wonder? She was calling for someone called Senior for some reason. If there anyone here by that name, I would tear apart the space and send them away to the realm of Molag Bal, or just fuss-ro-da them towards the fire garden. Senior D, don't look. Senior? Who is Senior? Is that bastard causing you any trouble, young lady? I didn't know you are here, I am sorry. She said with a shaky manner and tried to turn around. For some reason she seemed at a pinch. I instantly jumped from my place, and warped a large towel around my waist. The girl was about to trip over, but I moved fast and caught her. Once I held her body, I felt it was not weak at all. She sure is very trained and seemed very able. Why would someone like that get to be so afraid in a second? Are you okay? I asked the girl. She looked at me with a reddened face. It seemed getting too close to here may have caused her to get embarrassed. Oh, excuse me. I helped her to stand and backed off a bit. She was looking at me with a fearful expression on her beautiful face. To describe her face is something a bit, well, I would need someone who can write poems to describe her. Let's just say, if I was a mirror, I would find it too sinful to reflect her image. If I have a frame rate viewer on my vision, it would have gone under 15. If I am a video card, I would burn out after taking all that burden of viewing her face. If I am an author, I wouldn't have any words to write about her more than that. So let's just skip to the chase. She is beautiful, and for some reason afraid of something. To make such a girl afraid, let me just put my hand on that bastard. I have watched Hannibal series and I will give them a piece of that. Senior, the girl was about to cry. Damn it, this guy is getting on my nerve. I unleashed my aura and shielded the girl from its effect, and focused my magicka on my voice. That one called Senior. If you don't get your ass over here in the next second, then don't blame me for being merciless when I find you. My voice echoed around, reached far and wide, yet no one replied. Such a nerve. It won't end nicely for him if I found him one day. Young lady, don't be afraid. This person will be punished for ignoring you. The girl looked at me and tilted her head. She seemed not afraid anymore. Don't you recognize me? She asked. I certainly haven't had the pleasure. If I ever met you before, there is no way in oblivion I would forget that. Who would forget such a beauty? It's me, Alina. she said. Alina. Yes. Who's that? It is me. Oh, you are Alina. Yes. Nice to meet you, I am John. Omega. She was making a pitiful face for a reason. Still, her name. Where did I hear it before? Underscore 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 underscore. Bonus. Black small square senior. Found you, senior. Prepare yourself. John. Dragonborn. You will never defeat me. Senior. Will never defeat you? Who do you think you are to ignore that girl Alina? You will pay for it with your life. John. Don't think you can. The only one who can use the senior. Fuss ro da. Teleport fus rodh. Teleport fus rodh. Teleport fus rodh. Teleport fus rodh. Teleport. Haha. Don't underestimate my pentagram, unrelenting tornado. John. No. Senior. Chapter 139 Lady. John's POV. Nice to meet you, I am John. Omega. She was making a pitiful face for a reason. I think I should leave, she said. I don't know why, but my sense of crisis started making an alarm all of a sudden. I should say something. Something I should say. I'll see you out then. Idiot. Not that. Truly no need, senior. I am really sorry for disturbing you, she said as she turned away. Wait, I need to say something to make her stay. The weather is really nice today. You goddamn idiot. Who would talk about the fucking weather? Ahaha. It's true, see you later, senior. The girl turned around and left. I was all alone. The world turned black and white for a reason. There was a weird sensation in my stomach when I talked to her just now. I also felt another weird sensation in my chest, and there was some ba boom ba boom ba boom ba boom, yet now it is gone and took something else with it. What is that something that got messing, I wonder? But I should have said something like, I don't know what to say in that situation, but I know many things to say, things like, what would I say in a situation like that? Did I have to idiotically talk about the weather? What does she think of me then? Maybe I sounded so uncool? Did she think I am an idiot? This is bad. I need to ask about that girl around. She didn't seem to be a Firemane. She must be one of the people that live in the town, right? Damn. Her name was Alina, right? Come to think of it, there was that Alina that I know, but she doesn't walk around with her face uncovered like that. This Alina, however, is so pretty. I am sure smiling like an idiot. Is that thing that I don't, what is it called? Maybe I don't remember. Goddamn it, I am an idiot. I never felt so idiotic like this before. Still, being this idiotic feels the best. I want to see that girl again. What should I do? There has to be some way. System. What are the chances I meet that girl once again? 100%. How nice of you, system. Find me a good song then. A one that goes well with this idiotic feeling I am having. Searching, hourglass done. 1 results found. 1 result. Only 1. I never thought it is this serious. What song might that be? I wondered to myself as I went back to the spring and floated on my back. Will there be only one song to make my feeling like an idiot go away? Show results. Play button. Lady Kenny Rogers. Lady? I remember that song really well. One of the best. But that is a love song, you know that. That can't be true, right? Right. Nefertiti. Woman. Come here. Nefertiti swam and climbed on me. She then dried herself on top of me. She then sat on me. Nefertiti. What is it, woman? Please forgive me that I have sinned. You have been forgiven, woman. Thank you. Don't forget what you promise. Yes, I'll present the best fish I find as an offering. Cat bless. Nefertiti heard my confession and told me it is okay. It is decided then, there is no sin in looking for that girl. I need to understand. Sigh. System, I'll call you Alexa from now on. Confirmed. Alexa, play Lady. Playing. Lady Kenny Rogers. Lady. I'm your knight in a shining armor, and I love you. Sigh. This song is so good. Third person POV. Lady. I'm your knight in a shining armor, and I love you. Sigh. The person on top of the tree watched everything that happened the past few minutes. John knew that this person was there, but he did get alerted as this person is his closest follower and his most loyal friend, Jullanar. She was performing her regular duty of being his shadow. Ever since their agreement that day about the relationship between them, she has never neglected her duty. She knows a lot about him and a lot about his weird actions. She even may know what he might be thinking or saying before he himself does it. He surely surprised her about a lot of things, from his knowledge about hidden treasures to meeting a dragon and coming up with ideas and tales that literally were otherworldly. Still, she put her whole faith in him. For her, to follow the person who will one day save the world and to be the first to believe in him is her privilege and pride. She knew too well that he is serious about every word and action that came out from him, despite the others seeing him as a boy who likes to act silly. Even his mothers didn't take him seriously. She knew that she had this exclusive front seat to witness all the glory from the best angle possible. All she had to do was to live up to it. He gave her all these privileges and put borders between them to not get too attached, yet he himself was the one who broke those borders and treated her with kindness and love. She knew that she is the first member of that family he made for himself. And ever since the cat appeared, their small family has gained a new member who doesn't lose one bit to both of them in weirdness. That cat brought a lot of joy and fluff to their lives. Yet today, a new person entered his heart. He who would lead hundreds of men to battle, kill hundreds of enemies, speak with a smile to a dragon, look so helpless in front of a girl who is weaker than him. Jullanar looked at John, who was floating on his back while listening to a very beautiful music made by his magic, and she smiled. She knew this day would come. She didn't know if she should feel jealous or not. It was weird. Most people would feel jealous, but she wasn't for some reason. John and Alina were like her favorite people from the same age grade. John is the person who remade her life into something worth living and pulled her out of her unfortunate fate. Alina, on the other hand, was a very beautiful girl that she enjoyed keeping her company. She also revealed her face to Jullanar few times, and Jullanar, who was a girl, was enchanted by Alina's beauty that could calm people's hearts and make them want to just protect her. Even though Alina treated John with haughtiness and saw him as an equal when they first met, she got to learn her lesson and showed a lot of respect to John. She always sat behind him and spoke in absolute politeness to him. She even would put her pride as a magic prodigy away and go ask John for personal lessons. In Jullanar's eyes, this was the right way to treat someone as great as John. She didn't like Wulfr because the way he always treated John as equal, but she always knew that John and Wulfr has a brotherhood bond that gave Wulfr the right to do so. She also didn't like the Firemanes before for showing not too much expectations in John, even though they later started to recognize him as one of the most gifted youngsters. She could tolerate them just a bit. She knew it is twisted and unfair to put John so much above others, but it wouldn't be logical to her, who saw a big deal of weird events by just following him around. She considered herself to be the high priestess if John was a god. That all led to her taking the duties of watching John's back more seriously than her own life. But as a person who is very powerful, maybe watching his back that way won't do him much. She needs to watch what he can't see. Right now, John is love-struck and would take him some time to recover. She still has a very important duty to fulfill. She moved from the tree and headed away. She kept running and looking around until she saw what she was looking for. She walked towards her target but felt her presence might get caught, so she tried to activate the aura that John spent some time teaching her. Her aura wasn't perfect, but at least her presence was thinned very much. After getting the feels of it, she dashed like a loosened arrow and approached her target in a split of a second. Her attack wasn't lethal, but she managed to clutch her target by the neck softly and push them on the snowy ground. The target's level of strength was by no means inferior to her, but it was a soft attack that carried no hint of killing intent, so the target was rather confused. They looked to each other in the eye and stayed silent. Joe. She just was looking at the person under her right now. After a few seconds, she let go of the person under her and loosed her body to lay down beside that person. Jullanar didn't seem to carry any hint of anger or negative emotions, which surprised the other party. To Jullanar, it was a bit too hard to get angry at a girl that pretty even though they belonged to the same gender. Alina. The moment you break his heart, I'll break your skull. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Chapter 140, Before the Challenge, Hello from the Other Side. Hildy, is this kid going to be okay? Jonhild. I don't know. Hilda. He'll be fine. Nurina. Don't think too much about it. Jullanar. And I will always love you. I kinda like the songs though. Where did he learn to make songs like that, Sister Nurina? Jonhild. His past life, as he said. Nurina. Again with that? Hilda. Let me tell you about dragons. Jullanar. Near. Far. Wherever you are. I am not sure if this song is good for him. Nurina. Remember that time on the ship, Hildy? Jonhild. Yeah. I hope you have burnt that drawing. Hilda. When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway. Can anyone just tell him to stop? Jonhild. You're his father, you should be there in a time like this. Nurina. Yeah, I am well aware, but lately I feel like kinda out of practice to give advice about love. Jonhild. That's it. Hilda was officially done with it. Jonhild Jonhild v Firemane, you have 3 seconds to stop this or else. She walked in John's room, kicking the door. Alexa, pause. Confirmed. Hilda was looking at John with a strict face, but the strange voice that replied to John made her confused. What was that just now? Alexa. A corporeal being that can play songs and do a lot of other stuff. The real name is a secret or I will be in trouble. I don't care about that now. Stop acting like this. If you like the girl, go look for her. I have sent over 300 flying familiars all over the town, the fort, and some to Eastmarsh, but none found her. Flying familiars? Don't tell me, all these ghost-like birds that are flying all over our territory are yours? Yes, I just made some to look for her instead of me. Hilda was left speechless. It seems she has discovered something new about John's absurd conjuration ability. She left him with some words of warning to not play music again, and walked down. I am glad it's over. Jonhild breathed a sigh of relief. Hey, Nurina. Did you know that John is the behind all these flying creatures that are flying all over the place? Nurina nodded with a smile. Don't you know he can summon 100 undead already? John's ability has become far crazier than what I anticipated after he started training in that fire garden. Sigh. Now I have a son and a husband to keep them off that place. How did you deal with that boy all these years? Nurina closed the book in her hand and rested her back on the chair. Normally, John was the easiest kid to raise, the first to speak, the first to walk, the first to understand. I thought it was talent, but it seemed that things just get done around him, as if he is another responsible person like an adult. Sometimes he gets lazy like this, but he earns it. Will he be all right? Jonhild asked. He'll be fine, Nurina said, and cast a look at the person who was stroking Nefertiti in the corner. Master, I am sorry, I didn't think anyone would be there. It's not your fault. Still, why are you sticking around here? Hilda asked Alina. Alina, who has come since the early morning, was sitting there wearing a big hood and covering her face. I found her sneaking away from the familiar birds John sent. I told her to come here since this is the only place John won't be searching. Jullanar replied. Sigh. Are you afraid of facing him? Hilda asked. He is very determined to find me. But it is. I am afraid that. Those who were here knew about Alina's problem. When she was young, everyone blamed her for her mother's death and thought of her as a scary child with strange eyes. It caused her to develop a fear from getting her face seen. This is why she started wearing veils. What made her not to remove the veil, even though she gained a bit of confidence and became popular in her clan, was how she grew up to be a beauty Skyrim rarely saw twice in an era. This and that led to her being a very shy person without her veil. Once before, a visitor to the clan saw her and news spread about her in the other clans. It was said that the Moonblade clan closed its doors for a year until all the so-called visitors stopped flooding. Anyway, is he focused on the challenge of tomorrow? Jonhild asked. He'll be ready, Nirina said. Yes, he asked me about the details of the challenge this morning. He looked focused. Hilda said. Good. What will this challenge be like? Jullanar asked. I saw it once, Alina replied. Even though the challenge of my clan was said to be pretty intense, the Firemane's challenge was said to take place in the Mind Realm. Sometimes things get really scary, as I heard, and sometimes it doesn't take a minute. It was short with me. Father took the challenge with me, so I was really focused and reached the Wolf Guardian in a minute. Jonhild, however, Hilda said proudly. Sigh. Let's just say things get really scary if there is a dragon in your mind realm. I have never seen a dragon in my whole life, and to see on in my mind was an experience that I don't want to experience once again. Jonhild said. Oh my. You might need to buckle up, as the dragons will be coming in 4 years, and it will get crispy. Jullanar replied, imitating John. It sounds much better when John says it, Nirina said. Don't believe me? We'll wait and see then. So, which guardian beast will Senior get to have? Alina asked that question, and everyone fell silent. John would have replied the cat, without a single doubt, but this was a serious matter this time. Even John himself was concerned about it secretly. The problem is that in the mind realm, one should chase, battle, or imitate their guardian beast to win its recognition. In John's case, there is a big chance it is either the wolf or the dragon like his parents, but parents aren't always the deciding factor. Still, it wouldn't be a problem if John found the wolf in his mind realm. The problem, however, comes with the dragon. Throughout the generations of the Firemanes and the Titanborn clan they originated from, only a few managed to gain the recognition of the dragon. The Firemane couldn't gain it even though he was a proud patriarch. Jonhild Firemane, however, managed to gain it in an outstandingly from the first try. The power he gained by the dragon made him the most fearsome expert among the clans. Even though John heard the story, it was hard to tell that for those who see that man who likes to act silly most of the time unless one battles him. That's why Jonhild wanted to give John a taste of his power when he met him officially for the first time in the Fire Garden. If Jonhild gained the recognition of the dragon, this kid will be invincible. Jonhild, who is aware of what the dragon has to offer, said those words. Nirina looked at him and narrowed her eyes when she saw the anticipation he had. Jonhild was actually the most excited person about John's challenge. What will happen if he gained it? She asked. Jonhild looked at Nirina. He opened his palm and evoked a flame spell. He then added more power to it and the flame became brighter and brighter. It made a very strong light and one could feel its heat from a distance. He then pulled it back. Back then, the Titanborn clan had a strong body build and a high affinity with beasts. When they awakened their bloodlines, they would become mighty beast tamers. Of course 3 of the 9 beasts couldn't be tamed, but their obsession was in one of them, and the one that doesn't exist, Jonhild said. The Dragon Guardian, Nirina followed. Exactly, but no one of their ranks could manage to get the recognition, even the most talented. That is why they looked for new blood from outside the clan for many years. During the Second Akaviri invasion in the Second Era year 572, Windhelm was sacked by the Dinarkamal, the snow demons of Akavir, and the queen of eastern Skyrim Mabjarn Flamehair was killed in battle. The rest of the clan managed to escape to Winterhold and make ties with the Titan-born clan. After 16 years, the first person got recognized by the dragon appeared, and it was when the Firemanes officially came to be. After half a millennia the clan almost got destroyed in the Great Collapse, but father and uncle survived and carried on. With them, the clan obsession with the dragon lived on. Nice story. Everyone looked at who popped up and it was John. He was in his natural mood. No one really wanted to trigger his emotional state, but he seemed fine. So, I will have to catch a dragon tomorrow to make a flame like yours. Jonhild looked at Jonrad with a smug face. Little bastard. I managed to do it in half a day. If you do it in less, I'll teach you how to make a flame like mine. Jonrad made the exact same smug face his son made. Old bastard. Game on. Chapter 141 Sigurd Moonblade. Thank you for coming, Patriarch Sigurd. Tormund Firemane spoke in an intimate tone to the man sitting next to him. Uncle Tormund, talking to me like that makes me embarrassed. Please, don't mind the titles, we are all one family here. The man spoke in a polite tone. Foo-foo. Sigurd, you are one of the most influential men in Skyrim now, earn your title. Jenna Firemane was also talking intimately to the man. Auntie Jenna, I am earning it every day. I just came here to spend time like the old days. He spoke to her with a smile. The man who was sitting with Tormund and Jenna Firemane was a tall man with a jet-black long hair and light gray eyes, wearing a white robe and carrying 2 swords on one side. Those who look at him would see a calm man of culture, and someone that would give a strong aura that makes the others respect him despite how young he looked like. Old Sigurd, you haven't grown white hair yet? A hand was put on his shoulder and the man looked behind him with a smile. Old Jonrad, I would never grow white hair before you do. You two won't stop arguing about that? Another person joined the conversation. Hilda, tell him to give up on it already. The title of the most handsome man in the clans already belongs to me, Sigurd said while laughing quietly. That's only because half of them wants me dead and the other half thinks I am dead. If it was the old days you wouldn't have ran your mouth like that. Jonrad found a seat beside Sigurd. I say there is a new rising star that will take the light from you 2 old geezers, Hilda said as she joined in. Her eyes were looking at a young man on the other end of the hall. Oh, now I am excited, Sigurd said with a smile. TCH, the kid is just talking big. Jonrad was looking in the same direction as Hilda. Sigurd's light gray eyes also followed. So that's Jonhild, he said. While observing John, who was eating in the hall with the other boys, Sigurd's light gray eye pupils started to change from normal round pupils to vertical slit pupils. I see. Sigurd muttered to himself silently and changed the topic. I received a report about the current situation of the blood sales. Should I order the men to secure the coastline between Dawnstar and Winterhold? Sigurd spoke to Tormund. Let's leave that to the Dare Dragon Company. You can help with the areas near Dawnstar as the coastline will be too large for their small fleet, Tormund replied. Speaking of their fleet, I heard that my cute daughter was on that rumored fire-breathing ship. Sigurd spoke with interest. Yes, to tell the truth, I still can't believe the stories. Even after some snooping around to not upset the kid, we heard that this roaring flame is something akin to the god of the sea by now. Even the Imperial fleet is sending spies to investigate it. Tormund said. Will it be all right? The kid may cause himself to be investigated thoroughly. I am sure he is under the eyes of many forces for a long time now. A new player like him that no one knows how what cards he can play will cause the scene to change. But it seemed he is prepared for that too. Interesting. I was getting bored with all that fake peace anyway. Peace, huh? Speaking of that, did you receive a message? A message? I got one. Will the Dare Dragon Company receive one too? I am sure they will. Ulfric Stormcloak is not going to give up easily after all what he has done. Even the Empire is not pleased with him anymore. This fight will start one way or the other. Let's just hope it ends well. Yeah, let's hope that. But I guess we have kept the kids waiting long enough. Let's go. The elders of the Firemanes and Sigurd Moonblade stood up on Tormund's words. Today's matter was about to begin. On the other side of the hall, Jon was sitting with the Firemane's younger generation, listening to Zend and Gunmar, sons of Njord, who were in their 20s. These two kept explaining to the young ones how they gained the recognition of the hawk and the bear each. We are about to begin. Hafthor pointed at the elders who stood up. Jon, who was in deep thoughts about the report he received this morning from Winterhold, was a bit not focusing. He stood with a sigh and joined the others. Listen up, kids. You 8 will be treated as adults from now, so better do it with bravery. Whatever stories you heard about the challenge, just forget them. The test is easy, the boys could finish it with ease in my days. So man up and don't worry. Which one of you will go first? Tormund made a spicy speech to encourage the participating 8. These 8 were Jonhild, Phrygia, Vladimir, Hafthor, Veka, Vilker, Bjorna, Ragnar. There was also Alina, but her challenge will be different than that of the Firemanes. I'll go first. Surprisingly, it was her who wanted to go first. The elders looked at each other and nodded. Jenna stepped forward and Sigurd followed her. Alina walked to them and handed her flask of ice wraith essence to Jenna, who took it and walked to the side. There was a table and some tools were on it. Jenna started to mix a potion with the essence and another flask of blue liquid. Jon focused on that blue liquid he couldn't identify it. What is that? He asked the ones around him. Bitter frost, Phrygia replied. Poison? Jon has heard of bitter frost, one of the few things that can make a Nord suffer a frozen death. Yes, Mother told me that they drink the poison and the antidote together. Once the poison starts showing its effect, they will start seeing visions of frost and snakes, then they will have to duel someone to get pressured and forcibly activate their bloodline ability. Phrygia's explanation made Jon raise his brows. Looks like it is as extreme as Alina said it would be. Alina, who stood in the middle of the hall, was facing Sigurd. Ready, girl? Yes, father. She spoke with respect. Jon had his suspicions about the man who looked like the Moonblades and thought he is someone important, and that was the patriarch himself and Alina's father, Sigurd Moonblade. Legends were said about that man that stopped Hilda, who went on a blood rage for 5 years, and he battled and slew 3 patriarchs of the hidden clans alone 16 years ago during the unification of the clans against the Firemanes. He is also a known friend to the king of Ash Jonrad Firemane, and together, they fended against a Thalmor execution team and put it down during a daring move the Thalmor attempted to take in eastern Skyrim. It seems this gathering will be fun from Jon's point of view. Can we have some able young ones to help us, please? Sigurd Moonblade asked for some assistance. It seemed that the young men around were well aware of what kind of help he asked for. Hafthor told Jon to follow and handed him a shield. The shield has 1.5 meter tall with 2 snake eyes printed on it. The shield seemed to be a lot. Most of the boys and girls were carrying one and made a large circle around Alina and Sigurd. They then put the shields forward and made a fighting ring with them. Sigurd walked around to check the shields and hit on every shield with his bare hand. Most of the shield bearers would retreat back a step from the hit. Once he hit the shield held by Wulfr, Wulfr didn't budge one bit. "Oh, good shield," Sigurd commented and continued checking. The same happened with Vilker and Hafthor. He then arrived at Jon's. Sigurd smiled widely and all of a sudden, his aura surged up. One could see a silver hue covering the man. Instead of hitting Jon's shield nonchalantly, he punched with some strength. Jon noticed what was about to hit his shield and activated Energize with his aura that gave a green hue. He wasn't late when the punch arrived. Boom. A booming sound came out when the fist smashed into the shield. Jon felt the heaviness of the punch and clenched on his teeth. This old man. He tried to intercast a force-controlling spell, and he didn't fail completely. He then channeled all the force he couldn't handle through his arm and moved it to the other arm, then released it with a palm attack to the back of the shield. All this happened in an instant. Foo-foo. This kid doesn't show the elders any face at all. Sigurd was taken aback from the attack that got reflected at him and blocked it with ease. Ouch, Jon said after a short pause, as if he gave Sigurd some face. Sigurd sighed and shook his head. He knew this meant that another troublemaker is entering the scene with an attitude on top of that. From Alina's point of view, this clash was a disaster that Jon avoided with a style. She smiled outwardly but was crying in her heart. Her father kept going around to check the safety of the ring until he got handed a flask by Jenna. He took it and went to Alina. "Here you go, kid. Cheers." For a father to say that to his daughter while giving her a flask of poison to drink. It seems my attitude is not that uncommon. Jon was snorting. Alina took the flask under her veil and closed her eye for a second and took all that's in the flask on one go. Sigurd nodded in approval and unsheathed his twin moon sabers. Alina retreated back a few steps and threw the flask out of the ring and took her twin moon sabers too. This will be a duel between father and daughter that they had many times before. Sigurd's eyes changed from the natural shape to the vertical slit shape once again. It was the first time for Jon to see this change. He heard about the changes in the eyes of the adult Moonblade clan members when it changes into this serpent-like eyes. The clan had an Akaviri origin that goes back to the first Akaviri invasion. Some of the powers that the Moonblade clan members have are normally associated with a strong poison immunity and strange eyesight. Alina, whose eyes were a unique case among her clan, as those eyes only appeared in the history of the clan a few times, and each time it was a sign of a great change. It was also said that the power of the red eyes are unique to themselves, and it was proven that Alina's eyes were the source of her mysticism talent. The reason why Alina's challenge was being held her and not in her clan was a mystery, but the elders kept it a secret. The challenge was about to start. Sigurd was just standing there and observing. Alina was standing, but the effect of the poison was starting to appear on her. She staggered a bit, but she kept her eyes open and swords up. It was the moment to start. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.